And boom goes the dynamite. Boom goes the dynamite. 10,000 kilobits per second going to the internet. I think we're good. I think we're live, sir.
Nah,
He's live.
I don't think so.
We're live. Number 5 is alive. All right, let me break out my chat. Got to pop out my chat. Bring it over here. Where I can see it. Hey, we got Lewis Electric. Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop.
What up?
All right, let me go. Let me go send it out to the people so they know that we are the lives. Why don't they just let me see the title of the show in the show? I'll just share, copy. Go open up a new tab because you never have too many tabs.
I have so many tabs.
That's weird. My chat is like lagging way behind the chat that's actually in the stream. Weird. Okay. Oh, Pele, what's up, dude? Actually, just caught up. We got Pele, Gaming Maddie Rocks. We got George Blakely, never misses a show. Steve B. Steve in the house. Awesome. Fujirari? Is it Fujirari? Fujirari. And Exuded. And Gamers Unite. Hell yeah. All right, let me grab the title. There we go. And I need to go and post that on all the social medias so that people know we're doing the thingy thing. Oh, did I spell obsolescence wrong? God damn it, I did.
That's okay.
I always do that, man. I always do that.
Obsolescence.
Why do I do that? Actually, wait. I can just edit it here, can't I? Here, edit. Let me edit my show. Let me edit it. Microsoft. Here. Is there an edit button somewhere here? Edit. Edit video. There we go. Haha. I can fix this mistake. Mistake repaired. Save. Although, you know what? My experience tells me that I probably shouldn't have fixed that because when you don't fix it, then somebody would have corrected it, which would have forced them to engage. And then their engagement would have made more people see it. Yeah. And then people fighting back, telling them that they're being pedantic would also create more. So actually, you're rewarded pretty heavily online for making mistakes. It just depends on the mistake. Okay, let's see here. Tech Talk and boom goes the dynamite. Okay, come on. Are you going to resolve or not? Post. We're going to head over to the B Sky, the old blue skies. Hey, Balliet Brand, my man. Woo! Oh, my gosh. He said, thanks for streaming, gentlemen. I always look forward to the stream on the weekends. Dude, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you, and thank you for that super generous $22.11. Hey,
right on.
I know, right? Like, what a freaking nice dude. Dude, I love that. That sound effect's awesome. All right, so now I got to hit up the Facebook, and then we'll get the Discord. Because everybody on Discord needs to know. So let's go throw out an everyone broadcast. And boom goes the dynamite. Hopefully I'm sending out the right link. Yes, I think I am. And then I think I got one more and I'm done. Let's see, post. I need to just automate this. And the thing is that the time I waste doing this every week, I could probably automate in about 15 minutes and then never have to do it again. Well, not never. I'd probably still have to go in and like make little tweaks when they change the website and update stuff, since I'd have to use scraping instead of the API, since a lot of these sites don't give you free access to API. I think Blue Sky does. I think Blue Sky you get free access. X you don't, and I believe Facebook API you also don't get free access to. So, oh my gosh, somebody posted a picture of Charleston Heston holding up a 3D printer, and it's like, from my cold dead hands. I don't know if you've heard what's going on with 3D printing. Actually,
Washington trying to add a bunch of shit to it's so dumb. There's no way to actually enforce this. Like you can't I don't know how they're supposed to do that. You're gonna the state not okay, so maybe at a federal level you could actually make that happen. But at the state level, no, then like if it goes all the way through, then 3D printers just won't be sold inside of Washington State, because no 3D printing company, like 3D printer manufacturing company, is going to make special 3D printers just for Washington State that are going to have special code in it that's going to like keep you from printing a gun. Like and frankly, there's just no way that this would be ever held up at all. Like
FlashForge already said that they'd be willing to put this code in, which is fucking bad.
But it'll immediately get like go to the Supreme Court and it'll get knocked down because it's outrageously overstepping. I'm not even like Second Amendment style. I'm just talking like commerce.
Do you mean our state Supreme Court, or do you think federal Supreme Court will prevent states from doing it?
It would probably eventually get to the federal Supreme Court.
It really needs to. It really needs to.
There's just no way, because it's then how are you going to determine the difference between like a cosplay or a Nerf gun and a 9mm, like you know what I mean?
Without having a million false positives, impossible.
It's literally impossible. You couldn't do it. You can't.
Oh my God, Gaming Matty Rock said, you hear that Jay's 2 cents has a Bambu? It doesn't surprise me, honestly. It really doesn't surprise me.
And what difference does that make?
It's like, well, Bambu, they're just a shitty
ass
company.
know, but so what? Like, but I guarantee you Joel has a few Bambus too. Like, so
this is a shit. I hate this company too. Like, yeah, they use their phone. I don't use Bambu. I tell people Bambu printers, the hardware itself isn't bad. Like the Bambu printer actually is pretty solid as far as a piece of hardware. My problem is with the company, their firmware and their software, and how they claim to be open source when they're actually closed source. How they spy on their customers and refuse to give them their decryption keys to look at their data coming from their own local network and their own devices going out to China. Fuck that. I don't like them. They're a shitty company. That, as far as I'm concerned, all they've done is steal from the community. Take everybody's shit and put it together into one package, and then
Bambu
basically close source it so that nobody else gets the benefits. What's that?
Bambu would keep you from printing guns.
Bambu would. They would, and they could. They're definitely positioned to do it. The thing with Bambu though is I make a personal choice not to have. But Joel, of course, Joel's gonna have Bambu printers. He reviews 3D printers. Like he literally reviews 3D printers. Yeah. Of course, he's gonna have them. Jay's 2 cents probably wants something that's turnkey because he's not a 3D printing expert. He wants to just push a button and have it work or whatever. So he's okay with accepting a closed source system with all those strings attached to be able to have that experience. Me personally, not touching it. Now, does that mean I'll never touch it? No. If the company changes, or if things change and they stop being the buttholes that they're being, or somebody else buys out their company, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon, and things change, then I'll reevaluate. But as of this moment right now, no. Especially when they avoided all of my questions that I asked them when I reached out to them, asking for information about guaranteeing the privacy and security of my data, hitting them up for like data breaches that they had, and a problem where every printer in the world, every one of their printers in the world stopped printing all at the same time once because they made an error in their online mechanism, even when the printers were telling the users that they were completely in offline mode. So the printers were still hitting their cloud, and not only hitting the cloud, but completely dependent on it to continue the print. So if the internet went out, your print would have stopped anyways. But they did an error that basically made it look like it went out, and every printer just stopped printing. Yeah. That's not acceptable. You can't be doing that shit and then expect to, say, oh, it's just a bug. No, it's not just a bug when you're connecting to your servers and you're 100% dependent on some encrypted packages going back and forth for your printer to work.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me that it's like HP being able to fucking remotely stop your printer from working because you got the wrong ink in there or whatever.
Exactly. That's a good that's a really good parallel actually, because I remember that HP did do that. Did they ever roll that back, or are they still doing that shit?
I'm sure they are. I don't know.
Yeah, so what HP did is normally you'd put in an ink cartridge that's third party and the printer might reject it, right? If it doesn't have the right firmware, it doesn't have the right chip lying or saying the right thing. Well, third-party ink companies figured out how to like spoof that chip, right? Yeah. So that you could put in the ink cartridge and be like, oh, this is an authentic cartridge. So what they started doing instead is actually authenticating codes on the cartridge that they produce, like with a private key, like a hash, against their server, so that even if you create that chip that says this is an authentic cartridge or whatever, and it lies to it, it actually goes and checks their database and says, is this a cartridge we created? Dude. And if it isn't, then they say, no, you can't take the ink out of that.
There's even like expiration dates on like their toner carts.
That's bullshit, dude. Does it really stop printing if it hits the expiration date?
Yeah, or like you load in one that's like too old, it won't work.
Oh my God, dude. Toner does not go bad. Yeah, I have toner cartridges that are like 20 years old.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know.
It's 30, probably 30 years old.
Just sign up for their monthly fucking thing so that they send you ink or toner once a month or whatever based on your usage, right?
Oh my God.
You hook your printer up to their fucking app and it's, oh, my shit's getting low, and they automatically send you a fresh one. Because everything's becoming a subscription. That's why I need to find a business that is getting rid of some of their old brother. And I say this as you see behind me, an HP color laser printer right behind me, and it's some bullshit. Thankfully, I can still use third-party toners in this, and like I don't ever have this hooked up to the internet. Some dude, actually, I bought this for $25. Some dude couldn't get it working with his Mac.
And that's a laser printer?
He has a color laser printer.
Shit, dude, that's like the greatest deal ever. Those
Dude,
things are
like,
expensive,
yeah, it's like
man.
a $300 fucking printer I got for
I paid $300 for my brother, dude. I have a brother color laser jet. And
why
still
is Barnacules shaking? Because he's pissed, man.
I'm pissed,
it's some bullshit
dude.
subscription
fucking
shit.
Pissed,
it's
Zeno
fucking
Crimson.
ruining everything. Why the fuck do you think he's shaking? Because it's cold in his,
pissed,
his AC.
Brother.
His AC didn't shut off, and it's cold in his nerve cape.
It's 68 degrees in here.
Oh,
it's a little bit cold, but I like it a little bit cold.
I try and it's just funny. This is the last couple days. I've only turned on my heaters. Like I got baseboard heaters in the apartment, and I've only turned them on maybe 3 times. I keep my place pretty cool, like around 65, 68. And but man, this last couple days, I'm like, oh shit, man. And it sucks though because like the air will get kind of stale. It's like it's just like you can tell, right? There's not much of a good flow around here. So I've got now I have my one window open like this much, but I still got the heater on because it's like it's wicked cold out there. Don't get started on this. All you fucking Midwest people talking. Oh, it's cold. It's fucking -40. Shut up. It's cold for me. Okay, it's relative, subjective shit. It's cold outside. It's only like freezing. It's actually legitimately. It was 32 this morning. Jerry sent me a picture. Oh, it's 33 around here. Yeah, but it felt like 39. I saw that screenshot, Jerry. Okay, it says, you know what mine said? Mine said feels like 32, and it was 32. So it's cold, and it feels cold. Yours feels warm and fucking balmy out. Don't even start with me. God bless America.
I just checked the Zeno Crimson account. Guess what date the account was created?
What?
December 28th,
Yesterday.
2025. Not even a month old.
Oh, so, was somebody trolling or something? I missed it.
Yeah, just somebody poking like, why are you shaking, Jerry? Is it because the diabetes? I thought it was the diabetes making you shake. So I was like, I have a feeling I know who that is. So I clicked on it. It's like, sure shit.
You fucking weirdos. Get out of here.
It's like because we've had a Zeno Crimson in here before, but I know that they actually took the time to put a image next to their name. So when I saw that it was just a plain image name, I was like, oh, that's not the real.
But
Zeno
then,
Crimson.
So like y'all Midwesters are like, oh, it's like -40 or whatever. I got what is it, maple syrup. He was telling me. Well, let me see. He just sent me a shot. Feels like -39.
I'll tell you what, Daniel, if you behave yourself, I won't ban that account. That's the only account I won't ban if you behave yourself.
Straight out of the freaking Arctic, man. It just comes whoosh, blowing right down from there.
What's that? The cold air coming down here?
Yeah. I was like, man, I got mountains to help at least protect me from some of that shit. I don't get it straight from the freaking Arctic Circle, straight down from.
I feel like this winter and last winter have been ridiculously mild.
Oh yeah,
like we used to have winters where it's like 3 feet of snow and shit. I think those days are gone, dude.
In high school, or even before, up until about the end of high school, you were guaranteed 3-4 days of winter snow for like Christmas, New Year's, every time.
Yeah.
And now you'll every once in a while you'll get these weird cold snaps where it'll be all icy and slushy, and then it'll freeze overnight, and it'll be like 3 days of just 6 inches of ice on the road and stuff.
It's just enough to fuck the roads up. Just enough to fuck the roads up, and like and it doesn't give you any fun snow to go play in or anything like that, or anything you can make something out of.
Yeah, it'll be like a dry, nasty snow that's just powdery, and then you can't do fucking snowmans, or it's bad for sledding and stuff. Yeah.
It's like all the good stuff. All the good stuff is out. It's like, damn it, Janet.
Bullshit.
Oh, sorry. I had some audio. I'm trying to get back to my dashboard. Why do I keep getting kicked out of my dashboard? Stop it, YouTube. Here, let me go back into YouTube Studio. I want to see the super chats because I saw some other ones come in, and I want to make sure that they get read as they're coming in. Edit. No, not edit. Go into dashboard. There we go. All right, we got some dashboard here. Let's go to viewer analytics. Hey, Bubba the Matt, thank you for the $5. Woo, brother. Ooh, I like yours.
It's a little long, though. It's a little long.
He said, well, you can't push the button to stop it? Try pushing the button and then push it again and see if it stops. It does. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, that's nice. What I do, too, when I want to stop it early. He said, sup, dudes. Hope you're all safe. Currently being hit with a snowstorm that's covered the whole dang country. Been me baked, though. So I'm plus eating your brats. Well, enjoy eating your brats, sir, indoors. What does he mean by me baked? Me baked though, like you're hot?
He's baked.
You're
No,
baked?
he's fucking high as shit.
Oh, you're high. Okay, I should have known that. Blue Varo, thank you for the $10, my brother. Woo! He said there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. No, there's plenty of mistakes. Trust me. There are most definitely mistakes. Irene said we have about 4 inches of snow on the ground, but we're supposed to have a terrible storm tomorrow. Oh, seriously? Oh yeah. I keep forgetting. Irene is no longer in Washington State, so yeah, you guys are looking at some serious weather coming your way. Luckily, the weather's clear today because my wife and kiddo, they're going to be out and about doing stuff, and I hate it when they're out doing stuff and it starts snowing because I'm like, hurry up, get home. Ever since I had that wreck in the Chevy Volt, man, like snow starts falling, I start getting PTSD. Like I don't want to drive in that shit. Like the Subaru, I'll drive in it, but that's like a little different. It's like the Subaru, I go out intentionally and try to slide it around and stuff, and I don't care if it gets banged up. But like if I'm in any other vehicle, I'm like, oh my God, I start getting like, I start like getting like stiff when I'm driving and it starts snowing. I'm like, oh God, not again. Bradley Smith, he said 3D Gaussian splats video for crime scene investigation. Oh, that's actually a good use of that technology. I didn't even think about that. So have you seen the Gaussian splat stuff where they just walk through and it's wild. You take a phone and you just videotape a bunch of shit, or any camera really, and it can be stills or it can be video, and you basically feed it into an AI algorithm or whatever that creates a 3D representation of that world that you can even walk through in VR with depth perception.
It's similar to photogrammetry. It's a sort of an offshoot of photogrammetry.
I want to say it's just it's like a faster version of photogrammetry. Because they can almost do it like in real time if you have the right hardware. Whereas photogrammetry usually takes like a long time to extrapolate everything. Yeah. Plus, if you get close, isn't it like just a whole bunch of little shapes? Like when you zoom way in, it's just a bunch of little shapes. It's not like creating a polygon and putting one texture on it. It's like you're just taking a bunch of colored dots, basically.
Yeah, the point cloud, that kind of thing.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
Feels
hey, Jeffrey
like
Pittman,
pansies.
Thank you for the $5, dude.
Yeah.
Feels like Tempest for pansies, negative 28F air temp and
they just changed it from they do the feels like instead of wind chill.
Where's ND? Why am I not
North Dakota?
North Dakota. Oh, it does get cold in North Dakota.
Yeah, sure. Basically everything to the right of the Rockies, and if you look at like the jet stream stuff, you can see it comes right from the North Pole, right? Like it's really neat actually. You look at a combination of how the magnetic field of the planet is and the poles, right?
Yep.
And then the way that like the jet stream works around like up and over Alaska and then through the Arctic and then down. It swirls right around the North Pole, the magnetic North Pole, and then blasts all that chilly, basically fucking space chilled air straight down, whoosh, right through the Midwest, right on down the right hand side of the Rockies.
I've been to Minnesota is the coldest place I've ever been. I've never been to a colder place than Minnesota
on Earth.
Yeah, it was insane. I don't know how people live there, and they have like the world's biggest mall, like the mall. What is it, Mall of America or whatever? The biggest mall in the world is literally there in Minnesota, and I was like, why would you put the biggest mall in the world, like literally in the coldest place on Earth? Like, I don't. Maybe because people need to be indoors or they'll die from exposure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was popular. Every time we went to the mall on the rail system that like connected like the main area, they have a really neat rail system there in Minneapolis.
Oh, neat.
where you can go straight from the city right to inside, like literally inside the Mall of America, and like get out of the tram inside of Mall of America. And I thought that was super duper cool. Plus, they had an indoor theme park. They had an 18-hole putt golf course, VR flight simulator shit back before like VR was a big deal. It was really really cool. What is it, Datman? Do you have a bat knife handy? Do I have bat knife handy? Are you kidding me, man? She hangs under my desk from neodymium magnets harvested from Western Digital Green. Because that's all those hard drives are good for. God, look, you'd get tetanus so bad from that. Look at that. Oh my God.
Yeesh.
Oh boy. I've been harvesting some rust on that bad boy. I hope that magnet never quenches or something and it falls and stabs me in the leg. Hey, Pod Lassie, thank you for the 5 PLNs. Woo! And thank you to all the people that are liking the super chats. I really appreciate it when you guys do that. Seriously, it's like these people are so nice to support us, and we love it when you guys support them and give them some attention.
Louis Electric, I need you to clarify your message about the Somalis before I ban you.
Oh, Lewis Electric, you need to simmer down a little bit, buddy.
Well, just
we don't generalize entire communities of people here.
I'm just saying there's an interpretation there that could be like outrageously racist, and advocating for the death of a particular group of people.
That's kind of how I read it too, but maybe he does mean it in some other way.
That's why I'm asking for some clarity.
It's good to ask.
I'm practicing some grace here, but it's vaguely genocidal.
Yeah,
language.
I was like, I read that too, and I was like, oh my god, you're calling for them all to like freeze to death out on the streets, bro? Come on now.
So, and like, there's a fine line between like dark humor and stuff, like, because haha, like, yes, Africa, blah blah blah, it's cold and all that stuff, but there's literally also like people getting shot and murdered in the fucking street of Minnesota right now, and so
yeah, I'd be scared. I'd be scared to live in Minnesota right now, honestly, with all the shit going on with ice. Like, fucking, you couldn't pay me to live there. Oh wait, Xeno Crimson, I lost my old account to my family. Wait, they took it away from you? Hold on here.
Ooh,
well, at least they set their icon though, so and it does look like the right image, so it most likely is them. Let's see here. Ice took another life today. Oh, that fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that, but it seems like every day. It seems like every fucking day some innocent person dies at their hands.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they have no accountability, so they just get more emboldened to keep doing it because they know that there's nothing that can happen to them. Like even if they do go to jail, even if they do get arrested, they get an insta pardon. It'll show up before like an hour of them sitting in the cell. Boom, here's your pardon, because they don't want anybody to be afraid to join ICE. They want people to join.
Okay, so I won't ban you, but so he said no ill meaning. I was merely thinking about all the fraud investigation I noticed on YouTube. So again, that's being way blown out of proportion. The state had already investigated a lot of that shit back in like
20 people,
2015 or something.
I want to remind
people,
woman
was at the head of it all.
Yeah, it was literally the ringleader was a white woman. Just so you guys know, the ringleader was a white woman. It was 20 Somalis out of hundreds of thousands. Okay, so it's like you can't say, oh, because there was 20 that's the entire group did it, right? That's like that bullshit generalization of like anybody that's a certain race is because like a certain number of them did a thing at one point. Now all of them are evil for it. That's bullshit.
I need to cut this off at the knees.
Yep.
Jeffrey Pittman's quote says that quote innocent person had a gun. It's not illegal to carry a gun in the United States.
That's true.
It doesn't warrant murder. And that's the end of it. I don't want to fucking hear any more about Somalis or Minnesota or the ICE killing people because this shit is getting out of hand.
It is out of hand.
That's the fucking end of it.
It is out of hand.
That's enough. I really don't want to like.
We have to be better than that, guys.
Turn this into
don't let the racism fucking sneak in. Like we have enough of that shit going on right now with fucking dump truck.
It's not even racism or anything. It's the fact that people are making excuses for murder. For murder.
Yeah.
Carrying a gun is not illegal. He didn't pull it on the officers. Like, okay, you're done. I'm only going to time you out because I'm not like super fucking pissed. But like, we've all seen the fucking videos, okay? She didn't try to run the fucking guy over. He shouldn't have been standing in front of her car to begin with. And this guy had a phone in his hand, okay? If there was a gun, they pulled it out of his fucking waistband. And why on earth would they show a picture of it sitting in the fucking front seat? Like,
So I went and did a quick check, and yes, he did not point a gun at the agents. So this is misinformation that's spreading, more than likely by somebody on social media that got a viral post going claiming that the person pointed a gun. They did not point a gun, but they did have a gun.
Come out, said he had a fucking gun. And you're going to believe those fucking people? You're going to believe these fucking yahoos who fucking have it in their best interest to lie about this shit? Like, I'm sorry, but like, TikTok's not supposed to go in a political direction, and I shouldn't have highlighted the comment about the Somalis and stuff. And again, no, like,
well, we just wanted to make sure there wasn't any like genocidal talk going on here.
But
that's like, not
holy shit, man, we see the fucking footage. Nobody pulled a fucking gun. He
why it
had a
pisses me off
phone in
with-
his hand. They tackled the fucking guy. There's 6 to 8 of them all surrounding this fucking dude. Then one guy blasts a shot off, and then the other 2 just unload on his body.
Yep.
That is not how it fucking works. This isn't a war zone, okay? The military has better fucking rules of engagement than these fucking morons. And I'm
they have
fucking
no
sick
training.
and tired of this.
They have no training. They're literally just hiring these people and just literally letting them they can even carry their own guns. Like they can have their own personal firearm, bring it to work and just fucking go shoot people with it. It's not okay. It's not, none of this is okay on any level.
None of this
is so un-American.
Like, committing a crime does not immediately mean the fucking cops, even the regular PD, local PD, don't get to just shoot you. Okay?
It's fucked. It's fucked. We need to stop letting the fucking misinformation spread so rampantly and unchallenged. Like for instance, the lady that she was trying to run the guy over. Nope, there's 3 videos that clearly show the wheel on that car was turned and he put himself in front of that vehicle. Police officers are trained not to stand in front of any vehicle when somebody's inside of it, even at a traffic stop. You don't get in front of a vehicle. But her wheels were completely turned and she didn't speed off. The wheels on the car didn't fucking spin out. That car had plenty of horsepower. She literally just was turning and trying to get away from that. It's like, goddamn, man. It's like, and we're just letting the fucking evil win when we're cheering on this kind of behavior. It's like we have a legal system, right? We have juries. We have a system that's designed that you're innocent until proven guilty. And you see all these people fucking cheering for guilty until and no proven innocent. You're dead now. You can't be proven innocent. It's impossible. I just feel like everything is everything's in the court of opinion nowadays. Like there's everybody just forms an opinion based on like a 2-second edit from a video that one person went more viral than the other person spreading with a different perspective. And it's out of fucking control, man. It's literally out of control. But ICE has always been bad to a degree, but boy, have they really gone off the fucking deep end now. Like just the fact that they're recruiting and giving these huge bonuses without vetting anybody. By the way, we're supposed to be vetting these people for physical fitness too. We're not. They figured out that when you did that, the enrollment numbers go down dramatically because most of the people that want to join ICE are people that aren't in very good shape. And by the way, I'm only saying that because Pete Hegseth said that everybody that comes in the military and ICE moving forward in law enforcement has to be fit and like meet like the highest, standard of excellence, even though he couldn't himself. Oh my God. Yeah, this is definitely a heated topic, but it needs to be said that, let's be better than that. Let's not let, dipshit fucking ruin America. Let's not cheer on innocent people dying. Let's not demonize people when they literally have no charges against them. This guy is murdered and there's no charges against him. The woman, they supposedly ran over the cop. She's dead, but there's no charges against her for first degree trying to kill a cop, like premeditated murder. She wasn't even looking in his direction when she cranked the wheel and started moving, right? She had somebody literally on her door trying to rip her out of the vehicle. It's like fucking A, man. Hey, Altonian, thank you for the 5 pounds. Appreciate it, brother. He said, I think we need to create a big dome in Antarctica and go create a tech paradise city. Here's a $5 to get us started.
Man. I don't know about that.
For a tech paradise, man.
I don't know about that.
Give me tech paradise. I want tech paradise. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it'll ever exist, but I want it. I just want it. Oh,
I'm just afraid of it turning into a new version of old company towns. Like, and there are a couple. I think SpaceX kind of has done that in Texas. They have like a whole compound where like employees are supposed to live and work and do the whole thing.
Yeah, most of the SpaceX people live in Boca Chica. Like he bought all the houses and shit around it. Yep.
And then what are you going to do? You're going to get paid in space bucks that you can only spend at the space store.
I can see that
and you have to use X as your bank. Like,
well, do you remember what he did with the Tesla dollars? So you used to get like so many Tesla. Yeah, there's like these Tesla dollars you get when you sell a car. Like if you use your affiliate and you recommend somebody, they buy a car using your code, you get so many Tesla dollars that you can use for buying merch from their store. You can use it to buy a car. But then people accumulated so much, like so many YouTubers were accumulating so many of these points that they stopped you from being able to buy a car. You used to be able to buy a car with the points, and a bunch of these YouTubers were like, oh, I bought a Tesla Plaid with my points I got from my, million subscribers going and buying Teslas. But they got so fucking stingy that they pulled that off the table after they collected the points. So almost nobody was able to buy a car. Now you can go buy like trinkets from the store, like, you know, like if a flamethrower comes out, you can buy the flamethrower. If you want like little tokens or mats or Tesla shot glasses, you know, all the usual bullshit, the fanfare. But they can change the terms at any time, right? It's like the money has no value beyond whatever at that moment the value they're willing to give you. Pele, thank you for the 400 sexy. So what do you guys think about what Trump's USA is headed towards?
I don't want to talk about it
before? Yeah, little bit of a heated topic today. I think we'll save that for the Twitch. How about you hit me with that one on Twitch on Monday, and I'll tell you. But I think it's pretty clear from how we're talking which side we're on. We're definitely not on the evil side. That's for goddamn sure. And there is a clear evil side. I will fight anybody to the fucking death intellectually on that one. It is not hard to see what is happening right now and comparing it to the past. Okay, it's like go back and study 1933. Okay. Yeah, 1933, both U.S. and Germany, and then come back and look at all the parallels and tell me that ain't the evil side. Seriously. Bubba to Matt, thank you for the $5, dude. Super appreciate that support, man. This is, oh my God. Yeah, sorry we had to go down that path. But, you know, sometimes misinformation, you know, just gets out of control. And to be fair, I think a lot of these people that say shit like, oh, he had a gun and he pointed at a police officer, they probably just believe the information that they're seeing. You know, it's like they're not, you know, seeing all the videos. They're only seeing the one video that makes it kind of look like it could be that. Or they're seeing the video that shines the police officers in a good light because that's what's being mass circulated right now. And algorithms on X and stuff are purposefully set up to spread shit that makes that side look like they're fucking completely innocent in everything that they do. And that's one of the dangers we're really running into. And honestly, that should be an entire fucking topic one of these days, is how social media is completely replacing like traditional media. Like across the board. It used to be you could watch, hey, you pull up Fox News, pull up CNN, see them both say their side, find where shit lines up. And then you got a reasonable idea that the shit lines up is true because they're both saying it. And then you just take out the embellishment that they're both pushing in either direction. So you can do a comparison. Or you got services like that Ground News that you got to pay for, but it's actually a really good concept, right? You take all the news from all the sources and you go through it and you aggregate it together. Granted, they're probably using AI to do it right now because I can't imagine that they're hiring that many humans to go through and read every single article in real time and like figure out a middle position. But stuff like that's great. But social media, oh my God, you don't see the truth 99% of the time on social media. What you see is whatever the people you follow shared that the algorithm allowed you to see. And that's how it works. So if I post something and it's the truth, but Elon Musk doesn't want that truth getting out, it doesn't matter if you follow me. It doesn't matter if you have notifications enabled. You will not see that post. The vast majority, you will not see that post. That's how social media works. Social media can literally create custom tailored filters for every topic you can think of. And AI really makes that easy too. LLMs, that's like the big power of LLMs to fucking sway elections and to fuck up everything in the future, is used to be able to sneak things through using what's it called when you reword something? When you reword something to sound like it's positive, but it's actually negative. Like, and the person reading it will be able to infer that. There's a word for it. It's like hiding a cryptic message, but you're not really encrypting it. You're basically using language
like dog whistle, kind of.
Yeah, kind of like, hey, those cops are really fucking awesome, man. I really love what those cops are doing. Like right after a bad thing happened, it's like the sarcasm. Yes. Okay. So yeah, sarcasm or satire, right? Things like that used to be able to sneak through. Now they can't because the algorithm is so good. You go to AI and it's like you can drunk type in like anything and it can figure out exactly what you meant to say. You can try to phrase things as cryptically as humanly possible, and the AI will still be able to detect with a high level of accuracy what your true intent is by posting that message. And because they can use that, it's really hard for people to communicate with each other directly in public, because those messages can get stopped the second that they cross any line that the person who runs the platform doesn't want it to cross. And I've sadly seen this get like out of control. The worst offender by far is X. And by the way, Grok even agrees with this. That's what I thought was really hilarious. I got Grok to agree with it. ChatGPT agrees with it. Claude agreed with it when I asked that. Copilot, which is a modified version of ChatGPT, they all agree that X is by far the worst offender right now for algorithmically filtering what you can see to fit the narrative that best matches the owner of the platform. Facebook or TikTok was second. I believe Facebook was third. And then the best one by far was Blue Sky. Blue Sky actually came out like way up on top for not only its TOS, like, oh, by the way, I know nobody's read it because nobody reads TOSs, but the new 2026 TOS for X is the most restrictive and privacy violating TOS of any social media platform that's ever been created to date, by a lot. So anything you post, and I mean anything, it could be your wedding photos, it could be a picture of your sister, it could be anything, an old picture of your grandma from 1960. If you post it on a message on X, Twitter owns the right to do anything they want with that photo forever. There is no, you still hold the license of ownership, which means you hold all the liability for the photo, but they have a license to use it in perpetuity in any way they want. If they want to use your grandma and fucking morph her into a dude or whatever and put her in a video for promotional material, they can. If they want to sell a license to her picture to a third party, they can. And not only that, did you know even if you open a private conversation in Grok, every single input that you put into Grok is an AI. Doesn't matter if it's image, doesn't matter if it's files, doesn't matter if it's text, audio, whatever you attach to it, whatever prompt you put in, that is property of X. Whatever comes out of the algorithm, whatever X responds with to your prompt is property of X. So they own everything. Fucking everything. Facebook's policy was so much weaker than X's. And not only that, but X even has a section that says that you can never sue them outside of Texas. So you can only sue them inside of Texas. You can only sue them for a max of $100 US. I shit you not. This is in the TOS. You can only sue them for a max of $100, and by using the platform, you cannot form a class action lawsuit. Like basically, they reserve the right to sue you if you try to create a class action lawsuit against them for violation and breach of TOS. So now, granted, a lot of this probably isn't enforceable if you're in a state that has laws that protect consumers from this kind of malicious TOS, but it's still in there. So just so you guys know, even if you go to Grok and you click on private, you know that little incognito thing where you have like a private AI session where you think you're talking to a private AI? In the TOS, it specifically says this includes private mode and Grok. So images you generate in private mode, anything you've input and anything you've received back in a private window, even though you've clicked X and it's gone forever and you can't even access it again, they save that forever and they can use it for whatever they want. And there's nothing you can do to get it deleted, and there is no opt-out mechanism. It's bad. It's honestly, I got all the AIs to admit that it was by far the worst TOS that any social media site has ever had to date. As a matter of fact, it's even more strict than Truth Social. Truth Social, the president's own fucking social network that bans anybody that doesn't just speak, absolutely nice about the dude. You get banned instantly. I've had 4 accounts banned in 24 hours now. And so, I had one banned in 30 minutes. I literally created the account. I just added all my things. I left one comment on a post. It didn't, well, technically it did violate the TOS because the TOS says you can't say anything negative about Donald Trump or any of his friends or affiliates. So, and I went in there and I called him out for something, and immediately it's like, your account's been terminated. There is no appeal action, blah, blah, blah. You cannot create another account. So keep in mind that X is even worse than that. So, don't think that anything that you post online is safe, even if you accidentally click the wrong file. So you're like trying to attach a file and you accidentally click the file to the left and it's not the file you meant to upload, and then you delete it before you run the query. They still, by their TOS, own that photo now, like own the rights to use that photo or video for anything they want forever, including licensing it to other companies, which I found absolutely fucked up. So, and by the way, they even admit in the TOS that your private DMs, on X when you're in a DM conversation and you're talking back and forth with your friends, that's also not private. X has full access to that data and has the rights to use that data. So, and they said they do use it to train their AI, by the way. So all your DM conversations where you think you're just talking with another person in private, sure, the public can't see it, but X internally and their employees are allowed to not only see it, but use it to train their AI. So... which explains a lot, actually. I've been seeing so much more. And I'm curious, ask yourselves this. Have you been in your house talking about something and then suddenly you go over to your phone and it starts popping up everywhere, like on YouTube and on Amazon in the form of products? And you notice that shit that you've been talking about within the last 24 hours is like starting to show up on your radar magically without you actually searching for it.
I'm suspicious of that. I understand it could be possible. Like I know that it's certainly possible. But I do think some of that is more confirmation bias than actual, like, your phone is always listening to you. I know that it's possible. Like, because it has to be constantly listening for like the trigger words of like when you say hey Siri or whatever. So like it's certainly possible, but I get the vibe that there would be more security minded people who would have like exposed the actual mechanism of it if it were actually happening.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though, is I've put this to the test multiple times now, and more often than not, it happens. Like literally within like 10, 15 minutes. So I don't know if it's specifically a device that I have in my house, whether it be my phone, whether it be my Amazon Alexa, or what's doing it. But I've had this happen every single day now where my wife and I are in the bedroom, we're talking about something, I open up YouTube, and within my recommended feed, within the first 5 videos is a video that somehow it touches on that topic or directly touches on the topic we were just talking about. It's creepy, dude. Even my wife recognized it. She usually looks at me and she's like, oh, dude, you overreact on everything. And she was even like, that's really odd. Like, she's like, I'm starting to see what you're saying. Because, like, it happens more often than not. But I have no idea which device is leaking the information, you know? Let's hear. Irene said, were you talking about Truth Social? No, X. We're talking about X having the worst TOS. Truth Social, as bad as it is, has a less restrictive TOS against privacy than X does. Which is just, to me, is just mind-blowing to me. Because, I mean, Truth Social is literally the worst. Like, the absolute worst of the worst, right? And somehow X still manages to have a worse TOS. Hey, the Altonian, thank you for the 10 pounds. Woo!
Meshtastic.
You said a good thing?
Is one.
What's that?
Oh, go ahead. You can.
Oh, yeah. A good thing at the moment is there's new interest in better alternatives to modern comm platforms. I went to 39C3 in Hamburg. I'm not sure what that is. And attended some of the talks from the decentral community. Good info. Decentralization is critical to our future.
The 39th Chaos Communication Congress.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you were just talking about something to this effect, right? You were talking about mesh networks, right?
Well, I was going to say Meshtastic is one that people, a buddy of mine and or I guess, yeah, he's a buddy of mine, coworker. Him and some of his friends have been setting up mesh nodes like all over. They've been making these little boxes, solar boxes, and they've been taking them out in places and like putting them up on the roof of buildings or out in the woods and shit. Dude,
it's super low power. I have one right here.
Yeah, they're out, and actually there's a neat little project.
This is mine right here. So this is a Meshtastic node. Well, actually it's Mesh Core. I switched to Mesh Core, but Meshtastic is one version of it, right? These are mesh networks that are completely off the internet, and they basically just relay packets person to person to person to create, like, think of it like a text internet. Like a text messaging system that can span unlimited distances as long as there's enough people within inside of each other to create a line of sight to the other person.
There's another one too. There's another one too that works off Bluetooth.
I'm surprised the range on that is any good.
Dude, it's upwards of 100 feet or more nowadays.
So I guess that would be good in a building. Like if you're in a building and you need a mesh network, but I can't see that being.
You got a bunch of people wandering around and it just bounces from one Bluetooth to another. Boink, 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 boink.
I suppose if you also take into account that it can bounce and then there can be a pause before they come across another person, which you can do. Like Meshtastic does do that. Like it'll hold a packet and then next time you get next to a new node, it'll rebroadcast. So you could technically walk around and people would see like new stuff showing up.
LoRa radios, these low powered, and some of them have like a crazy range on them, like 2 kilometers.
Oh yeah, this device right here. I've actually hit somebody that's about 5 miles away with this little setup.
Let me pull up my targeted ads on Instagram because I've been looking at. I'm sure it'll show up here. Not the Woobles, not the. Come on, targeted ads. Where's my Meshtastic? Right, we're gonna see if my microphone gives me the ads that I want. Show me these LoRa. There was a kit that I almost bought, and it's basically you put together these 2 little text. It's tiny. The thing's probably like 4 inches high.
Yep.
And it's a text thing, and they talk to each other via LoRa thing, and you can get like over 2 kilometers with it. It's the kit. The project's like point to point. It's only for the 2. I think it's only for the 2 communicators that you put together.
It uses the same radio frequency as old handsets. 900. It's basically in the 900 megahertz range. 800 to 900 megahertz.
Is that low? Really?
Yep.
That's fun.
And so I just posted a link in chat. That's my Amazon affiliate to the one I bought. So that's this one right here. And it's $29. It comes with an antenna, although I bought an upgraded antenna. But then I found out that was a waste of money because my neighbor built a huge Meshtastic node on top of his house and put like a huge antenna, and then he put a repeater on top of a mountain, so now we can reach Canada. So I don't need this anymore. But yeah, this whole setup, with the smaller antenna, the wire, and everything of this is $29. If you buy it from overseas and you don't mind waiting 3 weeks for delivery or 4 weeks for delivery and going through customs and everything, you can usually get these for about $20 and they're very low powered. It's very easy. You can just pair them with like an 18630. They already got a charge circuit built right into the thing, so deploy it and let her run.
Yeah.
Xeno Crimson, I thought the last image you had was the one that I remembered you having as far as your image, if you're wondering which one you had previously.
I don't know. I barely paid attention.
Irene Smith said, ask Alexa how old actor Chuck Connors is. The answer is that he's 104, but the actor actually died in 1992. The thing is, Alexa doesn't use an AI yet. So Alexa still just goes off of, if somebody puts in random bad data somewhere, it just gives you that random bad data, sadly. So,
what is it for? Oh, Andy Mobile, what is it for? A lot of it is based around prepper communities and things. It's a decentralized communication method. That's the best way of putting it. That's what it's for. It's a low power, off grid communication method. That's the best way of putting it.
Because this is like me having a conversation with local people on my mesh node.
Yeah.
So you basically have channels and groups and DMs and everything, but it's all relayed to every device on the network. It spreads out. And so you'll jump to one device, and that device can reach a place you couldn't reach. So now it relays it on and relays it on. And that packet the sky's the limit, right? An airplane could be flying over and somebody could have their LoRa in their pocket powered on. Mm-hmm. And you can actually bounce a packet up to them. And then as they're flying over, they're dropping it down to every other one that they encounter.
Yeah, it's really cool. So it uses here LoRa radios, big L, small O, big R, small A, LoRa radios, which is like a long range, I think is what LoRa is short for, long range, but low power too. It's like Jerry was saying, 900 megahertz, like old wireless phones, and decentralized mesh. And so then you tie that to, so the LoRa radios tied to the Meshtastic protocol, I guess.
There's a couple different protocols. There's Meshtastic, Mesh vocabulary,
but
Meshtastic is the most popular one. But Mesh Core has more features and is more stable and has better APIs.
And then from there, it's sort of just off-grid communication platform. Or
you can also use it for automation too. So there's a plugin for Home Assistant. Where you can actually create a program that'll send a packet over these, and and each one will relay it. And once it reaches your house, that payload, with the instructions, tells your devices to do whatever they need to do. And then you can create a private channel that's protected by an encrypted password, so that only you can send those packets. Everybody relays them, but they can't look at them or see what's inside of them, and they can't send packets and trick your shit into doing stuff.
Check this out. There's a community. Start digging into solar punk communities where I'm kind of geeking about it. I haven't dug too deep yet, but it's like this weird mix of technology, but off grid too. So this gal Liz Howard has this community and a school, this online school, where she teaches you how to use old beat up old cell phones or just old devices and stuff, and you sort of repurpose them into and I'm going to quote this, offline first, solar powered, low energy, community based tools. So she talks about using Meshtastic or other mesh network. She focuses on Meshtastic, but basically using old, you could turn your old cell phone into a full on local I don't know, information server or automation server. And the idea is to sort of blend technology with this sort of neo hippie commune sort of I don't know, ideology, I guess is the best way of putting it. It's really neat. I'm kind of digging.
It's called solarpunk.
Well, the solarpunk term on its own has sort of a literary and media sort of definition. But if you look into solarpunk automation, or like these sort of off grid or offline tech forward communities, is really neat. Because like you said, like you can use these mesh networks for automation and stuff too. So like you could host your own Home Assistant server on some cheap $30 fucking Raspberry Pi, and then have it like automate your garden, or rotate your solar panels, and no internet, no cell phone towers, all this stuff, because it's all these LoRa radios, and you use Meshtastic to sort of bounce you can host your own mesh nodes. And her sort of vision is to sort of build this community, this commune, or at least that's sort of the angle that I'm picking up. I haven't gotten real deep into a lot of her content yet, but I really like what I'm picking up from her content from this, because like I like the idea of going like semi off grid, right? Or like having, if shit hits the fan and the internet doesn't work anymore, but like all of these devices would still work, right? Or to an extent, like your cell phone's still going to turn on. You can have solar panels to charge it and things like that. But then what are you going to do with it, right? With no internet connection, what do you do? Well, you can, there's these things that you can buy called internet in a box. And it's like a little, I don't know, it's like yay big sort of a deal. And it's basically got like the entire Wikipedia downloaded into it. It's got all kind of like survival manuals and things like that.
It's like a portable version of what North Korea uses for like their local network.
I suppose, yeah. But it would be sort of disconnected from everything else, right? You have your own little personal internet of information. And it doesn't have to go to the internet. It all runs off of this mesh network stuff. And so like when you're on your farm, like, actually, that's a perfectly good example. Even today, you got a giant fucking farm, and you're off out in the field somewhere. You got no cell phone signal. You got no Wi-Fi out there. Yep. But these LoRa radios can reach your entire 40 acres or whatever you got.
That's the use case I was thinking of.
And you got a beeper or a little fucking text box, a little old cell phone texty thing, and goes burp, burp, and you can still get a fucking text message from the house or from your fucking barn or whatever, and you go burp, burp. Oh,
these are
shit,
really popular in Alaska too, by the way. The LoRa stuff. Yeah, they use it in Alaska to stay in touch with the boats that are out on the water. There's like all kinds of boats that are out in this water, and they use LoRa because they can relay it boat to boat to boat long distances over the water because line of sight with no obstructions. And then it goes to the shore, and then it can relay the messages to all the houses. So because a lot of those people, they have internet at their house with like Starlink and shit like that, but they don't have a way to talk to the boats because the boats themselves don't have Starlink and don't have internet. And there's no cell reception out there because nobody has any cell repeaters set up out in the middle of the woods. So yeah, they use LoRa to kind of fill in the gaps so that they can do communication, but you're not just limited to communication. It's low bandwidth, but you can do other stuff too. Like you can, in theory, if you wanted to, you could send a file over LoRa. You'd have to break it up into a bunch of encoded messages, and then
I don't see why you couldn't develop. I don't see why you couldn't develop some sort of FTP.
They give you full access to the API. So the only thing that's required is the packets. You basically put your identifier on it. There's like some encryption stuff that happens, but it's like it's mutual. It's public encryption that everybody knows about that's running the same protocol. But then you can have your own private encryption if you want your own channel, and then whatever you put in there, your packet has to have basically it's like a header that says who it is, and it's like got the timestamp and stuff like that. But then you just relay that, and even if the packets arrive completely out of order and there's missed packets and stuff like that, you could even account for that using parity.
Yep,
right? Or just wait for rebroadcast until you have it complete. And once it's complete, it'll put the file together and you're good to go.
Well, yeah, like you could just do old, not old. Well, I guess it isn't old now, but old TCP, right? That's how that works. It says, hey, are you out there? Yeah, I'm here. Okay, I'm going to send you a million things. Okay, I'm waiting.
Hey, Pele, have a good weekend, man.
You spit out a bunch of packets. And you say, oh, hey, I only got 900,000 of those packets. I'm missing these ones. Okay, I'll send them again.
By the way, guys, never get rid of your old phones. Like even your really old phones. Doesn't matter how old they are. Old tablets too, like old Android. I have an old Note Android tablet. You're like, that thing's end of life. It like as an Android, I think the last Android version on it was like 2012 or 2013 was the last time this note had, or not. I don't know if it's a note. What's it
I don't know
called?
about bit chat. That's still done by Jack Dorsey, and I don't trust that guy.
If it's open source, then you can trust it because the community will be balls deep in the code.
It says BitChat's a decentralized peer-to-peer messaging application operates over Bluetooth mesh networks. Oh yeah, so this is kind of what I was talking about. But yeah, this was done up by Jack Dorsey, the guy behind Twitter.
You know what I like about Bluetooth though? Every device has Bluetooth. Every device.
That's what I mean.
Whereas not every device has a LoRa transmitter in the 900 megahertz range.
Yeah. So Jack Dorsey's kind of a weird cat, and I don't know if I fully trust the guy.
Jack Dorsey, that's CEO.
He started Twitter.
He's the Twitter guy. No, I don't trust him because him and Elon were buddy. But I don't know if they're still buddy, but they were like super buddy. I don't trust him at all.
I don't trust the guy. I don't know. When I saw this, when he started announcing it's bitch at. I don't know if it's bit chat or bitch at.
Well, if he has bit in the word, I'm guessing it has something to do with crypto.
No, not necessarily. No, not from what I can gather. It's meant to be a decentralized communications messaging app.
You know what sucks? I want to call this out.
Bluetooth thing.
You know what's going to end up killing LoRa? Yeah, what's going to kill LoRa is if everybody keeps creating a new protocol, instead of everybody getting together and just standardizing the open source one that's there. If everybody just jumped on Meshtastic and worked on it and didn't just create like Mesh Core and Mesh this and Mesh that, you wouldn't break up the network because they're all incompatible with each other and they can't relay each other's packets. They should all, at the very least, get in a room and standardize on the packet format and the encryption so that even if they create different features and shit like that, the basic message, name, and date can be still transmitted universally across the whole network. Because if you don't do that, you're going to run into a problem where it's like, oh, I'm going to have Meshtastic. My neighbor's going to have Mesh Core. My other neighbor's going to have this. My other neighbor's going to have that. And even though we all have LoRa devices that would connect us and create a mesh, they're incompatible with each other.
Oof.
You okay?
Oh, just bad acid.
Don't die, bro. Jesus.
No, I've been the last couple months. I've been taking just over-the-counter omeprazole every morning. And dude, first off, change the game. Like right now, I feel kind of bloaty and stuff. Like I feel extra full, even though I know like I have barely ate so far this morning. And I don't know, it's like a combo of like acid and maybe some gas just building up. It's like combo. And I haven't taken the omeprazole for like 2 days now, 3 days. I got to get more. And
problem is your body gets used to having that medication. So then when it's gone, it creates even more acid.
It's like, I've been getting, I know partly it's my diet. I've been a big like bachelor slacker guy eating. Basically, man, it's been bad. I'll just throw like a couple of chicken thighs or something and fry them up with some frozen veggies and shit. It's not the best.
That doesn't sound bad at all.
Well,
you know what I had for breakfast?
More of the veggies.
So my breakfast was 2 hard-boiled eggs.
Nice.
Okay, I had 2 hard-boiled eggs. I had 2 things of string cheese, beef jerky stick. Yep. Beef jerky stick, and what else did I have? I had one other thing. Nuts, cashews. I had like an ounce of cashews.
See, this morning I had a chicken McGriddle and a fucking sausage bacon egg or sausage egg and cheese from McD's. It's bad. It's bad. I shouldn't do that, but I'm like addicted,
food.
Man.
I miss junk food, but I can only have it.
Bloaty. It's gross.
I've awarded myself 1 cheat meal a week, but I've been eating pretty good.
I gotta do some shopping later after the stream and get back onto it because I had a good pattern, and then I got into a weird funk for a couple weeks, and now like basically my fridge is empty, and I've been scraping the bottom of my freezer for just calories.
Time to do a little store visit.
So now I'm gonna sit down and plan it out, and like okay, I'll give because like nothing wrong with boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Like that's a great source of protein and stuff.
Yep.
But when I'm just throwing it in the oven with a bunch of Kinder seasonings and turkey stuffing, that's not good. I got to eat the vegetables. I should do like you, man. Start the day off with protein. I got a big sack of protein powder and nice breakfast blend fruits, and I got a thing of yogurt. Somebody said fahe. I never pronounced that right.
Yeah, I only have carbs in the evening because they boost my blood sugar, and then that makes me fatigued and tired, and I don't want to be. And the whole thing is, I've been having chronic fatigue for like 2 years. Doctors couldn't figure it out, right? And now we figured out what it was. Like, it was literally because I'd wake up in the morning, I'd have like a bowl of cereal, and then that bowl of cereal would spike my blood sugar way up into like 350, 360, 370, way high, and then I'd basically go comatose for the rest of the day. And then because I'm comatose, my blood sugar doesn't come down as fast because to get your blood sugar down, you need to be pounding water, pissing, and working out. So it's not coming down. And then whatever I eat for the rest of the day just keeps fucking me over. So what I do now is I fast overnight when I'm sleeping, right? So a couple hours before I go to bed, and then, hopefully 6 to 8 hours at night. I fast. I wake up. I take my blood sugar. It's usually in 130, 140 range is where it's settled now, which is way lower than it was. It used to be 303. And now I notice I'm a lot more awake and alert. It's easier for me to wake up to my alarm.
Nice.
I feel sharper. I don't know if you guys notice on Tech Talk, but do I sound like I'm a little bit more like present and not as stumbly as I usually am? I'd hope so, because I sure feel like it. I definitely feel like it. So
that's the main thing, man.
And I had to take a muscle relaxer last night. I take a muscle relaxer last night and an antihistamine, which both those things knock your dick in the dirt. And I feel like I'm still fairly sharp considering that.
Awesome.
So
love to hear it.
So, and then what I do is at night, if I'm gonna have carbs, I make sure it's always when I'm down for the night, because I know once I have carbs, it's gonna literally put me into a coma. Like I will quite literally just be tired and yawning and nodding off and taking naps. But the nice thing is, if you have carbs in the evening, which I don't always have carbs in the evening, but if I have carbs in the evening, then I sleep it off and it goes away. My blood sugar goes down overnight. And then I've noticed, dude, the weirdest thing is how you can actually sometimes wake up with higher blood sugar than you went to sleep with. It's so weird because usually it comes down for me. Usually it comes down, but I had twice now where it went up, and I found out it's because your liver, depending on your quality of sleep and how long you sleep, your liver can actually release like sugar back into your blood. Like I didn't know your liver could like hang on to shit and like, just here, have some more sugar while you're sleeping. It was weird. But I think I fixed that now, because it only happened twice throughout the test period of 8 days. So now I'm like sitting like right in the butter zone. Like I log all my little finger stabs every single day. And here, I'll show you guys some data here if you guys want to see some more data. So this is my data for the last 3 days right there. So that's all my blood draws. That's both fasting and eating, everything I've eaten. So my high is a 157 yesterday after I ate. Let me see what I ate then. So that was after eating a dinner of spaghetti, meatballs, and a single serving of brown bread and butter with a ton of broccoli. So that was considered like a really big dinner. And normally that dinner pushed my blood sugar up 80 points. This time it only pushed it up about 10 or 11. So, but it's been coming down. So the metformin has been working great. I had one day where I woke up and had a 109. I was like, holy shit, that's normal. Like that's a normal blood sugar level. I was like, damn. That's crazy. So I'm waiting to hear back from the doctor on Monday. He's going to tell me if we're going to go up and dose on the metformin or if we're just going to stay the course and keep playing around. But yeah, no, I told everybody the one thing I'm not going to do this time though is talk about my weight online. If it looks like I'm losing weight, I'm losing weight. If it doesn't look like I'm losing weight, I'm not losing weight. But I'm not going to talk about that because people make shit too much about weight. They get hyper focused on it. It becomes the only thing that matters. Fuck health. Do whatever it takes to lose weight, even if it's killing you. And then of course you go down that road because you want everybody to like you. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do what I do. I'm going to let the numbers drive me. I'm trying to get my doctor to approve me for a continuous glucose monitor so that I have, I don't have to poke my finger like 5 times a day.
Thing in the arm.
Yeah. And it just stays on there. Dude, those things are awesome. They stay on for like 2 weeks, even if you're a swimmer. Like even in the water, they will not come off. And apparently you stick it on there and it just like a little needle just goes into your arm. You don't even feel it. And then it can measure your blood like every like 30 seconds or a minute. And the cool thing about that is then when you're eating or you're about to eat, you can actually see your body anticipating the meal as you're thinking about having it, because your body will start releasing insulin like early. Like you can actually see like as you're getting ready to have a meal, you can actually see your blood sugar drop even without eating a single thing, just because your body knows it's about to eat. So it like starts retroactively doing things. It's pretty damn cool. Like and I'm a very numbers driven person. So having a little thing on my phone that literally like where you want to keep the line between this and this is how you win the video game. I'll do it, right? I mean, even if it's like a series of little meals. And as far as fiber, I take a shitload of fiber now. Like I get a big tub of metal mucil off Amazon. It's like $30 for I think 180 servings. And nice. And I have five servings a day, 4 to 5 servings a day. So yeah, no, I've and I feel a lot better. Like I definitely overall, I had some serious problems with my back last week, but again, I can't control those. They come and go. However, I will say the pain medicine outside of the last couple of days has been way more effective too. I didn't know that was another upside of getting my blood sugar under control. As it turns out, high blood sugar affects how the body responds to opioid pain medicine. It changes how the body responds to gabapentin, which is the nerve blocker I take for the nerve pain. Yeah. And so all my medicines are working better. More awake and alert. I won't say, I guess my sleep has been better because I don't wake up and go piss 30 times a night. So that's nice. I don't have to pee every 15 minutes like I did before. I can actually make it through a live stream without taking a piss usually. Yeah, I do take a laxative too. I take a laxative every other day. So just to keep things moving through, you know what I mean? Yeah, the CGMs are awesome. The glucose monitors, those things are badass, but they're too expensive. My insurance doesn't cover it. I have to get a sports version. The sports version's $50 a month for 2 patches. 2 patches last you through the month. The medical versions can be like $200-$400 a month. And so I need insurance to cover that if I'm going to get anywhere near that. So hopefully they do, though. I have new insurance now. It's been kind of hit and miss. Like right now, I'm waiting for them. Like I haven't been able to get my Adderall for about a week and a half now because my insurance company required 2 of my medications to have some weird authorization where the doctor not only has to write me a script, he has to call the insurance and explain why I'm taking it. And so he did that. My doctor was really good. He called him, and they gave me my testosterone yesterday after about 4 or 5 days, and still no sign of an authorization for my Adderall. So you just have to wait. You just have to wait until the insurance gets back to you. If they don't, then you call them and ask them for an update. But I think that's stupid. If a doctor prescribes something, you should get it. The insurance shouldn't be like, oh, I need to talk to your doctor. That's really weird to me. I don't like that about the insurance that I have right now. I also don't like the fact that the second I signed up for my new insurance, my primary care provider is now in negotiations and potentially dropping my insurance provider after I just signed up for it because they covered them. That should be illegal. That should legitimately be illegal. So, and apparently this happened. My wife said the same thing happened with Primera about 2 years ago. And they ended up negotiating, so that's why we didn't see an interruption in service. But what happened was my doctor is a part of this big network, right? And the insurance provider I picked, when you're in the insurance portal where you sign up for your insurance during the open enrollment every year here in the United States through the Affordable Care Act portal thing, you go in there, and I think it's different state by state if I'm not mistaken. But for our state, you go into the portal and you search for like what insurance, list all the insurances that support this doctor, that cover this doctor as a primary care provider. So I went and found my doctor. I found his network. The office was supported, and my individual doctor was supported under this insurance. So I got it. So we bought the insurance. We found all the insurance that covered everybody. Covers my son's doctor, my doctors, both my pain doctor and my primary care. We thought we were good. So now it rolls past the 15th. Open enrollment closes. So now you can't pick any more insurance outside of a special enrollment period. So you're locked in. That's your insurance now for the next year. There's nothing you can do. You can't change anything until the next year. Unless you create a business. If you create a business or kill a business, then you get to do a reroll. But anyways, literally like a week or 2 after we get insurance into July, we get a message from our doctor's office that says, "Hey, listen, we may be dropping your new insurance." They said we may be dropping your new insurance because we're negotiating and they're not doing what we want them to do. So just be prepared to pay full out of pocket and know that, we will no longer be able to, none of your services will be covered under insurance, blood draws, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what in the fuck? I literally picked that insurance specifically because it covered my doctor. And you're telling me that I can't change it and I'm locked in for a year, but the doctors themselves can just tell the insurance companies to go away after they just got everybody to sign up for their insurance? Anyways, that's fucked. So they're negotiating. But at least I got an update like a day or was it yesterday? Yesterday I got an update that said we're now in negotiations. First it was we're dropping them. And I panicked. I was like, oh shit. And then they sent out an update because probably everybody panicked and called them and blew their phones up. They said, listen, no, we're in negotiations with them. We're renegotiating the contract. So what they're trying to do is use it as leverage. They're waiting for everybody to sign up for their insurance. And then Evergreen says, big network here in Washington. I don't know if there are other places, but Evergreen here, they're the ones that saved my son too, by the way. They're like, we don't like, this insurance's terms anymore. So we're gonna force them to renegotiate because now everybody signed up for their insurance that moved off of the Primera insurance. And so now we're going to basically shake them down for more money because if they say no, then all their customers are going to yell at them and potentially sue them because now their shit isn't covered that they're paying them for. So anyways, it's a big fucking mess. Our insurance system is so fucked up here. It is literally the worst.
I don't understand what we need the insurance for to begin with.
Yeah, did you know also this is why I got an insurance broker. I hired an insurance broker. It literally cost money years ago for me to get the plan that I've had for like 3 or 4 years for the business, right? And I was paying $1,400 a month. And then last year was $1,800. It went up $400 over the course of 5 years. So now it was $1,800 a month. Now they cancel that plan and they move us up to the next plan. They don't move you down a plan. They move you up to the next platinum plan, which is $2,800 a month. It goes $1,000 up from $1,800 to $2,800 a month. We cancel them because we can't afford that. There's no way we can afford that. We found out that this entire time, well, I was running this over the last 5 years because of COVID and how little money I've been making with the business and everything. We've qualified for my son to have free insurance from the state this whole time. Nobody told us, my insurance broker, we were paying full price for him to have insurance. Not only that, but our insurance plans that we had were based on like a business that was making shitloads of money from the beginning because the numbers never got changed. And now with the new numbers, we qualified for just getting personal insurance, which is cheaper than the business insurance. And now we're paying, I want to say like $1,300 or $1,400 a month, like $400 less for about the same coverage as we had 5 years ago, which was good. That was good coverage. But we are starting to find some chinks in the armor, like where they may not renegotiate the contract and my primary care doctor would no longer be covered at all under my new insurance. That would be catastrophic. That would fuck me beyond words. Like I'd have to take some kind of legal action to get out of it, because there's no way that I can just go and find another doctor and just have him be my primary care doctor after all these years of shit that I've gone through with this other doctor. So, and then my pain doctor, I got to go see them on Tuesday, and I'm nervous because I'm going to hand them my insurance card, and on the portal it said that they're covered, and I'm hoping I don't hand them my insurance card. It's like, oh, we're renegotiating with them too, and I'm going to be like, fuck. But to be fair, Premier hardly covered anything. I was paying $1,800 a month for insurance that was only useful when I was in the hospital, and only after I paid like a $6,000 deductible if there was an emergency. That was the only time it was useful. It didn't really, it didn't make medications that much cheaper. The copays were expensive, like $60 for a regular office visit. My new insurance is $15. So I can literally go 4 times to my primary care doctor with my new cheaper insurance. I can go 4 times for the cost of one with the old plan that was way more expensive. So yeah, it's fucking, insurance is so convoluted and so confusing that you have like no fucking clue what's going on until you just go into the doctor's office, do a thing, and get a bill. Like, I had no idea that my copay was going to be $15 until I went to the doctor, and then they're like, oh, you're responsible for $15. And I'm like, wait, isn't it usually $60? And they're like, oh, no, your new insurance is $15. I'm like, wait, you're telling me the cheaper insurance I got, that's the bronze plan, not the gold plan, from a provider that probably nobody even knows the name of, and it's $15? Are you serious? Oh. Was that Irene said, isn't there a caveat that you can change providers if you lose coverage? No, not that I know of. As a matter of fact, let me ask, because that would be fucked if there isn't. But they told me on the phone when we called them, because we had to change something already because we fucked up. We canceled our own insurance before we had the new insurance. And so there was a month where we were going to be uninsured, and we had to fix that. And so we had to force them to open up a special enrollment period. We basically needed AI's assistant to say the right thing to the right people to get to the right person who could do that. And they did it, and we got it fixed. But the first 5 people said we couldn't do it. So that just goes to show that just because they tell you on the phone you can't do it 5 times doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you're talking to the wrong person. But if let me ask, I'm curious. Let me see if you can. So I'm going to say, if my primary care doctor drops my insurance that I signed up for in Washington State, can I switch insurances outside of the open enrollment period since my doctor is no longer covered? That I specifically signed up for that insurance because they did at that time. All right, let's see what we got here. Beep, boop, 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 beep. Short answer, losing access to your preferred doctor by itself is not considered a qualifying life event in Washington State. So this typically does not allow you to switch health insurance outside of open enrollment. You can only change plans mid-year if you experience a qualifying life event such as loss of coverage, moving, marriage, or birth. Why losing your doctor doesn't trigger a special enrollment period. Washington Health Plan Finder only allows plan changes outside of open enrollment when you experience a qualifying life event, which is loss of health coverage, marriage or domestic partnership, birth, adoption, or foster placement, certain income changes, or moving to a new coverage area. See, and this is the thing, though. Oh, wait, it's saying my doctor leaving the network. I'm going to say, wait, hold on. Not my doctor leaving the network, but, well, actually, I guess it would be my doctor leaving the network. Never mind, it would be, right? Because they're the ones saying they're not going to accept the insurance anymore. So even though you can't switch mid-year, confirm whether your doctor is truly out of network. Sometimes clinics change billing groups, blah, blah, blah. Ask about continuity of care exceptions. Some insurers offer temporary continuity of care when a provider leaves the network, especially if you're in active treatment. This is not a guarantee, but it's worth asking them about. Switch plans during open enrollment. See, that's fucked up. That should be illegal. Think about the loophole there. You can only sign up for insurance from the 1st to the 15th. You specifically look for insurances that cover your doctors. You lock in that coverage, you pay and say, I'm going to have your service for a year. And then right as soon as open enrollment closes, all your doctors say, we're not going to take that insurance anymore unless they give us more money. And then that insurance carrier says, we're not going to give you more money. So then they part ways. And now you're not covered at all. Your insurance that you're paying all the money for, you just lose all your coverage and you have nothing you can do about it. That's fucked. That should be massively, massively illegal. Oh my God. Third shifter said Obamacare at work. Dude, it's not the same as it used to be, though. It's gotten worse.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's gotten way worse.
Yeah, they've fucked with it quite a bit.
Yeah, to be fair, there was definitely some holes that people found, but Leave it to the insurance companies to always find a way to fuck you in the end, because they really do. And the price fixing stuff is also like bullshit, where basically the insurance company, they'll sign a contract with the provider saying, listen, we'll pay you 40% of what your retail price is, like coming in the door. And in exchange for that, you'll get more customers because we'll bring you customers with our insurance. We'll pay you promptly, blah, 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 right? You're not going to, so it's worth it for some doctors to take less money to get more clients and more regular pay. So let's say the doctor does that. Now the doctor's like, well, this isn't enough money. I need more money. So you know what the doctor does? The doctor's like, well, the insurance is only going to pay 40% of what the retail price is. Now most of my people have insurance. I have very few walk-ins. So I'm just going to raise the walk-in rate by double. And now the 30% that the doctor pays is double what they previously paid. So now they're getting what they used to charge the person coming in off the street from the insurance company, but that's 40% of the price that they now have to charge people that walk in off the street. So now the person that walks in off the street can't afford their services anymore. And that's what happens. That's that price fixing shit that happens where like nobody can go to any doctor now because if they accept an insurance plan, they have to up all the retail prices facing the public.
Oftentimes though, if you ask for what the cash price is, like out of pocket, like straight up, what's the cash price? If I paid you clean out today, it'll be a fourth of what because they're incentivized to overcharge the insurance companies. But if they know, oh, it's just you as a person, right? Then, oh yeah, well, what a $1,200 procedure ends up being $200-300 because it's better for them. They get to keep better. There's fewer people in between, so like, yeah, it's cheaper.
Why insurance companies? Actually, I'll just say it to him. Yeah, third shifter said I wasn't praising it. No. I understand. I wasn't saying. I know you weren't praising ACA. I specifically understood that. I'm just saying that when ACA first started, it was actually really, really well intentioned and it did help a lot of people. The problem is the insurance companies found enough problems with it that they were able to basically circumvent any of the thing over the years. They figured out how to circumvent all the good things and fuck everybody over. And then you got people like Trump coming along, signing executive orders that now take away regulatory shit that force them to price fix certain things and certain services, which allows them to screw over customers even more now. That's a problem. Like, but you're right. Insurance should not be the way it is right now. Like it's completely fucked because insurance has now positioned itself where people cannot pay out of pocket for anything because the price for those services isn't realistic anymore. Because in order to get the insurance to pay the price that the service truly costs, they have to overprice it to everybody coming in the door, which then forces you to get insurance. You see that circle that they do? And that's not necessarily just because of the Affordable Care Act. That's also before that was even happening where private insurance would go, hey, listen, if you let us only pay you 40% or whatever, then we're going to give you so many more customers. Then the vast majority of their customer base signs up for that insurance so that they're paying less to use the provider. But then everybody that walks in off the street now is screwed and they can't take on those customers unless they go and get the insurance because they can't afford it otherwise. And that's the trick is, right, you set up this system where people are basically forced to get insurance. They have no choice. They can't pay out of pocket. It's impossible. I mean, unless they're like millionaires. And if they're millionaires, they can afford an insurance plan because here's the thing. The richer you are, the cheaper your insurance can be. Because there's all kinds of exceptions throughout the entire system where there's this area you don't want to be. You don't want to be like middle class. You want to either be super rich or you want to be poor. You don't want to be in the middle because in the middle, that's where you're going to pay the highest rates for everything. Because if you're rich, you can basically subsidize your health care and get an insurance plan where you're like, oh, I'll pay a $20,000 deductible. Well, the odds of you going into the hospital or something like that for a life-threatening thing, $20,000 is nothing to you, so you don't care. So now you pay for a plan that's only, a quarter of what everybody else pays for a month because it has this outrageous deductible, but all your preventative care, all your doctor's visits, all your medications are just as cheap as everybody else. You get all the benefits, and the only time that you actually kind of lose, and you still don't really lose because a $20,000 deductible is still better than paying $1 million if you need like some crazy surgery, right? But again, it's like it's that same thing with the stock market where it's like rich people can hold on to assets forever because they don't ever need the money. They have the luxury of waiting until it peaks to sell. Whereas not everybody has that luxury, sadly. It's like people that are poor, they end up having to sell out of the market because of a tragedy or a downturn in the market, and they have to sell. They have no choice because they need the money to physically survive. And so the rich people benefit from that lower class group of people that can't hang on to assets as long as they do. And then they fall out of the game, and that benefits everybody else. And so Yeah, you don't want to be that middle class area. That's the danger zone here in the United States right now. My wife just sent me an "I love you" message. That was very nice of her, and that will never ever get old. Honestly, finding her and getting married and having Xander is the best thing I ever did in my life. I want that on the record. Everything else I did, questionable at best. That was the best decision ever, though. James Campbell said, if your doctor stops covering your insurance and you don't qualify for whatever Washington's version of Medicaid is, you should still be able to qualify for a special enrollment exception. You know what? The only way we were able to get the special enrollment exception was by canceling our previous insurance, but we were only allowed to do that during the open enrollment period, so that's still a big blocker for me. Jerry or Ox, are there any of y'all experienced in where to find region-free Blu-ray? No, I haven't bought a Blu-ray in forever. Have you? When was the last time you bought a Blu-ray? I think I have King Kong on Blu-ray. No, that was HD DVD. I don't think I've ever bought
an
a
actual
Blu-ray.
disc.
Yeah, like an actual disc. Yeah.
I know I got some blank ones back in the day when I had a burner, like a Blu-ray burner. Like you did that, but that was, I have no idea. Like in 15, 20 years ago, I have no idea.
So James Campbell said, if my doctor, so if doctor drops your coverage, but you do not qualify for Washington Medicaid, which I don't right now, because I'm not on disability and I'm not old enough, and I still make a little bit of money. You know what sucks too is since I have a 401k, even though I'm drawn against it early at a penalty and I have to pay 10% of my 401k, and I still have to pay full income tax on it, that still counts as income, even though I'm not working. Like technically I'm not even making enough to even qualify for paying taxes. So because I'm living off that 401k, that's considered income, which means I don't qualify for Medicaid. So I actually qualify right now to go on disability if I wanted to, or to just claim unemployment because I don't make enough money from this. I could just dissolve the business, which we need to do next year anyways, because it hasn't helped us at all. It's actually been a giant boat anchor costing us $3,000 a year to maintain. But I can dissolve the business. And then if I do that, I could literally just go on unemployment. They literally give me a check, every month. Well, I just go, search for the jobs that I want to find. If there's a job out there, then I can grab onto that. But then I'd get Medicaid. I'd get full coverage. But because I'm taking money out of my own 401k, taking away from my own retirement and paying a penalty, draining it much faster, and losing all of the appreciable value that would have happened had I not cashed that money out over that time. So at best, it's like every $1 I take out is basically $3 or $4 if you look at what its potential gain was over time and everything to my retirement. So I'm paying 4 times more than everybody else to survive, but I still have to pay for insurance because that counts as income. So I'm making an income. So
this is gonna sound weird. Could you borrow? Could you borrow against it, like the way that people do against their like stock holdings and stuff?
You can't borrow against a 401k because it's what do they call it, a speculative asset? So it can change in value. So they're not going to take a risk on you.
People borrow against their stocks all the time. That's a risky thing, but it's up to a certain percentage. Like you can only borrow up to, generally they'll be only up to like half what
I'd have to look into that. I don't have, if I had to do half, I wouldn't even survive.
That's how the rich people do it, man. They buy up a bunch of stocks and assets and stuff, and then they borrow against those things.
I could use it as collateral. Like I could use a portion of it probably as collateral for a loan from the bank.
Yeah.
But that would also carry interest, and the interest would it'd probably be lower than 10% though. That's the thing. You're probably right. That probably would be. Right.
It might be the overall interest might be
the
less.
One I'm really afraid of doing though, that's coming up, like once my 401k is depleted, and I won't have a retirement after that. So once the 401k is depleted, all I have is the equity in my house. And so what I can do is I can either sell the house, take all the money, go buy a cheaper house, and then live off the money that I have left over. Or I can get a home equity line of credit to live off of, basically, for so many years. But then that would just basically, I'd just keep paying my mortgage after my mortgage was paid off, because my mortgage is almost paid off. I think I only have like 5 years left on it. Yeah. So I basically just keep paying my mortgage like I am now to pay off that home equity line of credit. And it'd be at whatever percent like a refinance would be, like probably like 3% or 2%. So it'd be less than 10%. But the scary thing about that is like you fuck up, you lose your home. Yeah. And you can't really, I'd have to sell the house to repay the loan. And if the market crashes on the housing market, I could potentially sell my house and still owe the bank hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is what happened to my neighbor during the last housing crisis in 2008. So that's a little scary to go down that road. So right now it's like, it sucks having to use the 401k, but that's like that's the most accessible money to use right now that doesn't require a super high risk now.
Yeah.
But everything carries risk later, right? It's like my retirement. It's like if what happens if I get to the point where we can't survive later on? You know, companies don't need to hire employees anymore because they got AIs doing everything and they got robots doing everything. And then the only jobs left are like the manual labor jobs that require extreme dexterity and precision, right? And it's like I'm not going to be able to do that when I'm old and need to be retiring, right? So I try not to think about those days because that starts getting the heart rate up really fast, right? Because you're like, fuck, dude. But you know, it is what it is. You have to do whatever you have to do to survive, right? And at least I'm fortunate right now that over the time that I spent at Microsoft, I did build up a big enough 401k that I'm able to live off it for a couple of years. So, you know, if I didn't have that, I'd be screwed right now. If I didn't have that, we would have already sold the house. Like we would have sold the house a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So I'm glad that we didn't have to do that. But and then the thing is, like, if I did move, I could sell the house, take all that equity, and then go buy like a cheap house out in like fucking the middle of the desert in Eastern Washington for pennies on the dollar. You know, my internet would be fucking Starlink, which I'd hate because I fucking hate Elon Musk. But what else am I going to use out in the middle of fucking podunk with no cell reception, right? And then all the cell phones would have to be via repeater through the Starlink, and you know, because they'd be out in the middle of nowhere. But at least it would cost like next to nothing. So, what does it say? You need to show income for getting a HELOC? Yeah, well, my income is from my 401k. So you can actually, there's a couple different ways that you can get HELOCs, actually. So, he said in Canada at least. Yeah, here you can get a HELOC because the bank more than is willing to give you a line of credit on your house if you have the equity. Because if you have the equity and they give you the loan and it's less than the value of the equity and you don't repay the loan, they get your house and your property for basically free. So there's no way they lose unless the housing market crashes, and it always recovers. The bank knows that, and the bank can hang on to assets forever. So the bank does give a shit. The property, my house on my property is only worth like, I think they said $60,000 or $70,000 of my equity in my entire property is the house. The rest is the land. And the land is only slightly bigger than the footprint of the house, and the land is worth 10 times more than what the house is. So they don't give a shit. They'll let the house sit there and rot and just collapse to the ground. They don't care. The land is what's going to be worth the money and just keep going up. And it's not going to get any cheaper because we just keep creating more people. More people need more space. More space means more houses being bought. More demand and less supply means the price goes up. The Metalhead Man said, couldn't you get a deal on a repeater on your property and get paid for it instead? Well, why would they put a repeater on my property when there's nobody else around me? Like, that would defeat the purpose of a repeater. So I don't think they would pay me for that, but that would be funny. What I'd like to do is set up like a place where it's like I live in Eastern Washington and then put up enough solar that it sells enough solar power back to the grid that I basically just pays for the property. And then it just becomes this thing where it's like it's just the property taxes and the property itself is paid off by the sale of electricity and energy back, or maybe some other things too. I don't know. Get a property with a water easement so you can set up like some hydroelectric and stuff like that. But that shit's all a pain in the ass, like to do, like the licensing, and then the government, and somebody's going to see a picture on fucking a satellite image and come out and visit you and tell you that you need to get like $100,000 of licenses to do it and everything. That's happened to so many of my friends. That, like, I had a friend that built a deck. No shit, he built a deck around his house, and 2 years later, a guy shows up and knocks on his door to tell him that he either has to pay $100,000 for the upgrade to the house in taxes, like because the property taxes reflected this deck raised the price of his entire property about $100,000. Or something like that, so he has to pay the sales tax or pay the property taxes for the years since it was built. So they go back through the salary. You've had it for like this many years. You got to pay us this much. And he's like, "Fuck that shit." So he had to go out and actually break down his entire deck that he built, which he spent probably $10,000 in lumber on. This was when lumber was cheap. It's a huge deck. It wraps around the whole house, the second and third story of this house. And so he went out and had to tear his entire deck down that he built just 2 years prior. And just had this massive pile of like scrap wood that I think later he used it to build like a shed or something on the property. But because it made the property value go up and he didn't report it, and it wasn't built by a licensed person he didn't get a license from the city to build this addition onto his house, they hit him with like everything. And so he had to tear the whole thing down. He still had to pay a fee. It was like he had to pay like $5,000 penalty. He lost his deck and lost all that time and labor and everything. And his house basically just has a pile of garbage sitting next to it. I was like, dude, that fucking sucks, dude. Because that was his option. He either had to pay I want to say it was like probably $15,000 or $20,000 was what he owed on the addition of the property value going up. And that's fucked up because if you improve your property, you're actually screwing yourself if you're going to stay there. Because everything you do to improve your property drives up your property taxes when they reevaluate it. And then you have to pay more property tax. So just think about that when you're upgrading your property here in the United States. It's like if you put a huge garage on your property, like for instance, my old boss from Microsoft, Bruce, he built a photo studio, like a huge photo studio, one of the biggest ones in Western Washington. So he lives in a trailer. His house has a double wide manufactured home on it, which lowered his land value like significantly because his house had no value. They didn't even count it. It was literally a zero. The structure was zero. The property was this much. So he's paying property tax on it. Then he built this $250,000 metal giant building to have like his photo studio in. And he erected that, and then a year later and he got the licenses. He did it all legitimately. He paid all the fees, got all the people come out, and then he gets his property taxes the next year, and it like quadrupled because this giant ass structure on his property and like being a business, like structured his property into like a business easement, and then his main property, and then the value of that building at $250,000 like doubled or tripled the cost of his land because he lived out in this podunk place where his land was only worth like $80,000. So, yeah, that building fucked him. Like, he had to pay a shitload more property taxes every year and has been every year because of that building. He built it. He paid for it, yet it made his property taxes go through the roof. So, yeah, you got to be careful. Even things like putting in a hot tub. Just installing a hot tub. I don't know how much it raised it. Like, how much of because it goes up every year by a different amount. I don't know how much of it was because of the hot tub, but when they look at the satellite imagery, they can see a hot tub behind my house now. And if they see a hot tub, they will actually include that in the property. For the property taxes. The shed I put up, they included that in the property tax evaluation. So anything you do on your property, just keep in mind, man, if you're like honestly, the rednecks have got it figured out. Like just put rusted out hulks of garbage in your front yard. Hide all your structures under blue tarps. Like literally just make it look like a crack mansion because that'll lower the property value and then your property taxes will be less. Tech tips. Here, let's move on to one of the other topics here. Let me pull up my dashboard. Where did you go, dashboard? It crashed, by the way. I did hit my first YouTube crash today. They still have not fixed that out of memory bug.
Weird.
I don't think they ever will, honestly, at this point. Because I know for a fact they're aware of it. Like I got confirmation from them that they're aware of it. And they just point their finger at each other. Oh no, this is the browser. Well, you own the browser. Oh no, this is the website. You own the website. Oh no, this is this. You own that. You own everything involved. You're pointing the finger at yourself, dumbasses. Oh yeah, Microsoft's scaling back AI.
Yeah, because nobody's using Copilot.
Yeah, so apparently Microsoft, they bet the farm on ChatGPT just like everybody else is doing. By the way, if you went to CES this year, it's all AI. Everything's AI. Everything.
I think there is a world where Microsoft buys out OpenAI completely. Because I think it was earlier, just a little bit ago, Sam Altman was saying if we don't get another round of funding, then OpenAI could go bankrupt by the end of the year.
What, say again?
Sam Altman was saying that somewhere I remember reading that he said that if they don't get another round of funding, they could be bankrupt by the end of the year.
Wow, dude. At least Microsoft doesn't have to worry about going bankrupt because they have like pretty much limitless resources.
Dude, yeah, they're burning basically like $14 billion a year or something like that. They're OpenAI.
You know who gets OpenAI if they go bankrupt? You know who's like Microsoft. Really cheering? Yeah, Microsoft.
I bet that's what happens. If the government itself doesn't step in, if the U.S. government doesn't step in and like invest $100 billion or some bullshit, then yeah, I bet Microsoft just buys them out or lets them go under and buys just the valuable bits. I didn't mean to say bitch.
Still works.
The valuable bits.
Buy the valuable bitch.
They're getting money from the Saudis to an extent, I imagine. Yeah, but not enough I can't imagine it's enough to save them.
Microsoft really put OpenAI over a barrel. Because if you guys don't know, OpenAI was only possible because Microsoft said, hey, OpenAI, we're your friends. And we're going to let you use our entire data center, all of our computers, all of our bandwidth, everything. You can have access to all of it to host your AI and grow your AI and train your AI. Unlimited resources. But you have to sign here on a line that we're partners, right? We're partners. And by us supporting your entire network, we have exclusivity rights, right, to use your shit and take your model and train our own private version of it. So OpenAI is like, sure, that sounds good. That sounds like a good deal. Then later on, OpenAI is like, hey, we want to branch out to other people like Google. Let's check out this Google Gemini thing and see if we can do something with Google. And OpenAI is like, Microsoft steps in and goes, nope, shoots it down because their agreement says that they get a say in it. Microsoft shoots down every time they've tried to expand and they've tried to bring in investment from outside of Microsoft. Microsoft shot them down using their right. So now OpenAI has no other source of revenue. All their shit's hosted on Microsoft shit, and they can't move it. The policy literally says that Microsoft has to host their stuff. That was part of the deal, right? If they're going to use Microsoft shit, it has to stay in Azure. But now they've burned so much bandwidth and so much money, and they're so indebted to Microsoft from the perspective of they can't move their platform, they can't go anywhere else, they can't pull in any other investment from really outside of that. So they're just going bankrupt. And when they finally hit the point where they're about to go bankrupt, they're going to have to sell. And Microsoft is going to pay way over because, well, they're not even going to get what they're worth because everybody knows they're hurting, right? But Microsoft will just outbid everybody. They've already got all the infrastructure running on their shit anyways, and anybody that acquired it would still be hosting it on Azure.
Yep.
So Microsoft wins no matter what. Microsoft like played a really good game when they cornered OpenAI on that deal. So there's nothing OpenAI can do. Like at the end of the day, OpenAI will be owned by Microsoft. It's just a matter of how long, right? And so in OpenAI, even though I don't consider OpenAI by far the best LLM right now, the best cloud LLM, it is the most used and the most well-known. If you ask people about AI, usually they say OpenAI or ChatGPT. You know, it's like ChatGPT is like back when people called the internet Facebook or Google, right? It's like that's
Sure.
the AI. When you say AI, people think ChatGPT. They even say like saying ask ChatGPT is synonymous with just asking AI in general. So, but OpenAI, despite all of that, they basically backed themselves into a corner by signing a deal with the devil, and now it's going to bite them. And the thing is, Microsoft's hands aren't tied at all. Microsoft has already been playing around with what is it? Mistral, I think it is, either Mistral or Mixtral. Mm-hmm. One of the public models they've been playing with, and they've been training and building their own, so that they can have multiple agents. They can have one sitting on OpenAI stuff and their modified Copilot version of OpenAI. And they have their own little thing over here that they've been training, the Mistral thing. So Microsoft's in a really, really good position in AI without having to really do much at all, anything with AI. Like OpenAI is doing all the heavy lifting, and they're gonna benefit 100% from it. However, I will say this: the thing that did backfire on them was thinking that Copilot was going to be this big thing.
Yeah, that was
they put that in the operating system. They're like, wow, if we put AI in the operating system, everybody's just going to operate Windows 100% using AI, and we're going to get all that sweet user data, and it's going to be this amazing thing. People fucking hated it. They basically had to pull it out. It used to be embedded into the operating system. Now it's like external, but it's in the operating system, but now it's external components. It's not like kernel bound like they did with other shit they didn't want people removing, like the telemetry. And now it's even just a standalone app. Now, if you want Copilot, it's like you download the standalone app from the Microsoft store, and now you have the Copilot app. It's still somewhat baked into Microsoft, but it's not as invasive as it was. I remember the first time it dropped in Windows 11, everybody was screaming bloody murder, especially when they were talking about doing that stupid snapshot thing. What was that, where it's like taking physical snapshots of your computer?
Yeah, right? Like monitoring your screen.
Yeah, what's it called? Like recall? Windows recall or something?
Yep.
It's so
That's
fucking stupid. Dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. Seriously. Hey, Real Bodo, what's up, dude? He said, what would you do now if you're a very senior engineer and trying to prepare yourself for an AI future, assuming that you're fully using AI for the majority of your coding? So what do you do now? I mean, stay the course. Use AI for the majority of your coding, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to compete with anybody else.
Yeah.
Traditional developers cannot, they literally cannot compete with trained developers using, like another trained developer at the same level using vibe coding. Because here's the thing, it's a hell of a lot faster to have vibe coding write a piece of code and then go through and modify that piece of code than it is starting from scratch. Like even if you're just building the Hulk, like, you know, and then once you get into the agentic AI coding, that's a whole different animal. Like I think about all the times that I've started a project where it's like I go create the PowerPoint slides, the basically pitch the idea in a meeting, and then I go create the flow chart that shows like the flow of information through the program and the logic structure of the program and all that. And then once I'm done with that, then I go create the interfaces, and then I derive the classes from the interfaces, and I create the wrappers. So basically you have all the classes and functions and everything all put up before you even write any code in any of them. You're basically just creating the shell of the program. I could spend a week doing that on a project, like getting that all set up, all the files created, all the assets and everything. Now I just go into fucking AI and I'm like, hey, I want you to create a template, or I want to create it. And then I can start building each function, vibe coding it. And it's like, even if I typed 1,000 words per minute, I could not fucking keep up with this thing. It's just, it's that useful. I mean, and it can create every file. It's like a lot of people still think that like vibe coding is just write me some code, copy and paste it. You can do that a lot of
people are doing. That's what a lot of people are doing.
A lot of people are doing that, but no, it's
vibe coding.
So far beyond that now. Now you have, go ahead.
It should be, but you do have a bunch of you got a bunch of fucking, it's usually bean counters or like salespeople who think that they know what they're doing. And so they're like, oh, I don't need these software developer guys who actually like understand and know the code and like can kind of see what this fucking robot is trying to do. And so they'll just, and they just trust what's being spit out by these things. And then their shit doesn't work. There's a million examples of it on Twitter alone of these no knowledge yahoos who think they have an idea for an app and, oh, I'm just going to fucking have Claude do it for me. And they don't understand. And then you go, oh, here, check out my cool app. And it's localhost 8080 or something like that, right? Because they don't understand what they're doing. They're not actually building an app that makes sense or a service that makes sense. Or, God forbid, they actually freaking get to a point where they put it out into the public and it has no security whatsoever because they don't know what they're doing. You have people who have literally no code experience whatsoever, thinking they can just pump out their brilliant plan and make $1 billion and pull out when they sell the company to something, and it doesn't make any sense. If you have even just the basic concept of programming, or I'd even go so far as to say if you have like a full stack understanding of the full stack of web development, not even full stack, just front end, even just front end, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you are a million miles ahead of most of these yahoos who think they know what they're doing with AI doing vibe coding. Like, you have to understand at least the basics of what it's trying to accomplish so that you can catch it when it does stupid things. Like, yeah, it might work on your machine, but are you sure you're actually producing a product that like can be used publicly?
Here's the interesting counter to that, though, is you can create something that you don't understand, and it's cheaper for you to create a large program that you don't understand that just works regardless of how it works, and then pay that professional developer to code review it, to go through and like fix the bugs and the stuff the AI can't. It's cheaper to do that than it is to have somebody write it from dead scratch and then still have to go through that same process.
Now, that's true. I'll admit to that. Yeah, that's true. But like trying to solo dev something and think that it's going to be a secure and scalable product, I think is
the security is out the window. I honestly believe that we're going to see just more and more security breaches as time go on, because more and more vibe coding is going to make its way and slip through code reviews, and it's going to find its way to production, and people are going to use that same AI to exploit those same holes. Because anything that AI can code, AI can also find problems with. Oh, yeah. So check this out. This is what vibe coding looks like when you're using an agentic AI like open code. So I open up open code and all I did was ask it. I put it in planning mode and I say planning mode just means it's not going to write any code. It's just going to ask me questions, go back and forth and figure out how to plan out what I want, right? So all I did is I asked, hey, just write me a program that finds random sound effects on the web and plays them until I press the escape button, right? That's simple enough. And so it came back with some questions after going through and like planning it out and creating it creates a whole plan. Like it's literally writing documents, documenting the plan, creating the workflow, how it's going to do it, in what order it's going to create the dependency hierarchy. It figures that all out before it even writes code. So now it's asking me some questions, right? It says, what type of sounds are you most interested in? Do you want nature sounds, music clips, sound effects, ambient noise? And all I have to do is use like the arrow keys, the select one, right? So it's like, do I want beeps, crashes, explosions, UI sound? Do I want rain, thunder, birds, animals? Or I can also do random mix. So I'm going to do random mix. I'm going to just say 5. So let's do 5. Okay, now it's going through and it's like, okay, so based on my research, here's the program that we're going to create. And it's telling me where the sound sources are, how it's going to do audio playback, what languages it's using, the main flow of the program. So the main flow of the program is initialize media player and console, loop until escape is pressed, search for free sounds, search free sounds online for random sound effects, download preview MP3s to temp location, play the sound, display the sound info, name, duration, and author, clean up the temp files until the user presses the escape key. And then it has key features, random discovery, use varied search terms like beeps, click, explosion, and whoosh to find sound effects, automatic cleanup, it downloads the temp folder and removes it after playback is complete, Error handling continues if download fails or if sound is unavailable. And then response control checks if escape is pressed every 500 milliseconds to kill the program. It looks like it chose to use PS1, so it's using PowerShell to create the program. And it says, would you like me to proceed with implementing this PowerShell script? And all I have to do is just hit tab and say yes. That's it. And now it's in programming mode, and it's going to go and actually create the directory. It's going to create files. It's going to put them in there. And it's even going to tell me how to run it at the end. It's going to say, oh, here, type this into the command console, and it'll run it. It can even run it for me. If I don't know how to run the program when it's done, I can say, run this program. And it'll actually go into that folder and actually type the command in the command prompt and open it up and do it for me because it can run commands on the computer. So, but you can get into trouble. Just like Aux was saying, it's like if you ask it a question, it starts hallucinating. There is the possibility for it to run commands that could be dangerous to your computer. Like that is something that can potentially happen. And that's why it usually shows you each command it's going to run and then asks for your permission ahead of time. Wait, Nerdgasm, I still think that CodeGasm AI edition would be awesome. That the goal has always been to go back and create some CodeGasm AI videos. I just don't feel comfortable with it just yet. Let's see here. Vibe coding becomes a nightmare once context window is dead. It forgets and starts breaking everywhere. One, if you use agentic AI, you can actually break up the context between multiple different AIs, or you can use an AI that has a massive context. There's literally AIs now that have a billion token context window. Unless you're writing an operating system, you're probably not going to overflow that. The other thing is when you run into problems where AIs forget certain things in context, which does happen, Craig West, and I completely admit that happens. You can actually have it remember. You can tell it to remember, and it can go back and actually remember on its own based on what context is still there, or you can just pass the stuff back into it. You can say, hey, go reanalyze the files and create a new context based on wherever you're at that point in the programming. And I've done that quite a few times. I've been in the middle of a project before where it keeps regressing a bug. This is something AI sometimes will do. It'll just keep putting the same bug in. Every time you add a new feature, it brings back an old bug it already fixed. And even if you tell it, stop doing that. Like, do not do. Sometimes, depending on the AI, it will just be hard set on every time you try to add something new, it'll go back and make that same mistake again unless you explicitly tell it in every prompt not to make that mistake. However, what you can do in that situation is you can go back and have it reanalyze the code. You can say, hey, go back, import all the code back into the context, reevaluate it, and then tell it about that issue, and then it won't do it again. Okay, so it finished. It said, so it created the files in the temp directory because I told it not to create it. So it created random sound player PS1. It says to run this program, open PowerShell. You can hold down Windows and press X and type Windows PowerShell. Let me try that, see if that works. Windows PowerShell. Hold on, Windows PowerShell. Yep, that works. So somebody be able to reasonably do that, right? And then it says navigate to this folder, type in this command or cut and paste it. So CD and go to the directory. Let's see, is it there? Yep, it's there. And then it says, oh shit, where'd it go? No, I hit something, made it disappeared.
Even vibe coder.
I just fucked it up. Hold on here, Control P. I think I can go back to where is it? Switch model, switch session. There we go. No, I'm back. I'm back in business. Okay, so now it says just run this PowerShell command. PowerShell execution policy bypass file random sound player PS1. So let's try it. Let's see what happens. Okay. And she blew up. She blew up. Trying to create a random sound. So all I'm going to do is just copy all the stuff that it did. I'm going to say, I can go back into it and say, shit. The one thing I don't like about open code is if you actually accidentally push escape, it goes to like a black window and then you got to reopen it, hit Control P and go back to the session. They need to fix that. That's dumb. Only seems to happen on Windows though. Okay, so the random sound player crashed. All I'm going to say is, I'll go back into planning mode and say, this program crashes. Can you run it yourself and analyze the output and fix the bugs until it plays sounds without errors? I'm just going to ask it to do it for me. It's telling me I can run the program. I'm like, no, you do it. You test it. You can even ask it to test it for you, and it'll go run the program. Yeah, you do it. Like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm a vibe coder. I don't want to do anything. So I said, the program crashes. You need to run it yourself and analyze the output and fix the bugs. Okay, so now it's going to ask me for permission to run the commands under PowerShell, most likely. The other thing I really like about this, though, is you don't just need it for vibe coding. You can use it for just general shit on your computer. Let's say you're not a command line savvy person, or you're not good with PowerShell, or you're not good with the command prompt, or you're not good with WSL2. Any of those things, you can just open code and put it into build mode and say, I want you to disable my NIC and my computer. I want you to reset my graphics driver, and it will actually issue the commands. It'll figure out the command and run it from the command line to do the thing you asked it to. So it's almost like all the institutional knowledge that people have built up on these operating systems over the years isn't really needed anymore. Like now I use Linux more. I used to just, Linux drove me nuts operating from a command prompt outside of the UI. And because I just forgot everything that I knew from when I was a kid. I know the commands like ls and stuff like that and if config, but I don't remember every command because it's just such a convoluted environment. But with stuff like this, it's like really easy for me to go over to Linux and then it's just like Windows. It translates. I can say, hey, do the Windows equivalent of this. Here's the command I know in Windows, do this in Linux. And it'll actually convert it to the right command. It'll tell you what dependencies have to be installed. It'll even install the dependencies, run the command for you and tell you whether it was successful or not. Oh, it's doing it. It just ran it. Okay, so let's see what it did. Okay, so it says it ran the script. I can see right now in the window, it shows the error output. So it did definitely run the script because it's showing the same error output that I got when I ran it. Okay, it says it's trying to test a fix. It says the issue is that Windows system.windows.media isn't available in PowerShell. Let's use a different approach with the Windows Media Player COM object. So now it's trying to switch to a COM object in a DLL instead of using a namespace that's not available in PowerShell. You know what? I bet you I ran this under the non-Windows PowerShell because there's two PowerShells. There's the cross-platform PowerShell and there's the Windows PowerShell. I think I ran it under the wrong one like an idiot. But again, this is where that institutional knowledge comes in, right? Like you were talking about. It's like you will be way more efficient vibe coding if you know how to code in the beginning. Obviously, you're way more effective if you know the baseline, but it doesn't mean you're crippled. I know people that know nothing that have done amazing things with this.
Yeah, which now, like again, if you take a critical angle to it, like, hey, write this code and explain it to me. Like I want to learn Python, which man, Python's just looking at it, can't be that tough. I want to learn Python. I want to make this thing. Let's make a copy of this thing, but explain it to me like step by step, or turn it into a lesson plan for me, right? So that we can learn together. That to me is how you should do it. You shouldn't just be like, oh, I want to make a replica of Twitter. Let's do it, and then just trust that it's going to work. Like you should come at it from the right place. And,
you do have to have tempered expectations too. You can't say write Doom and it's going to just write Doom, right? Like
Doom probably it could. there's plenty of open source. It could probably just find you an open source Doom replica and just give it to you. But I understand that was just a hyperbole kind of thing. But yeah, man.
But if you wanted to build it from so the way you do it is you wouldn't just say, hey, go build me Doom and walk away. Although with an agentic AI, if you have enough money and sky's the limit and you use like the largest cloud model, it probably would take hours, but it would do it. It would do it, definitely.
Java. I'm sorry, Cayudan.
Oh my God, somebody's still using Java? Oh my God, Java is bad.
It is still the most installed, like so much stuff runs on Java, dude.
You know Windows even barks at you if you try to install the Java runtime now. It says, oh, this is full of security issues and you shouldn't be using this anymore.
It's still, dude, it's everywhere. It'd be like learning COBOL. I bet you would replace some 80-year-old guy who's the only one who knows how the code works, and you'd be making $200K right off the bat, kind of thing. Because if that guy dies or takes a sick day, their whole fucking company falls apart.
You know what AI is also really good at is like reverse engineering and adding features to existing stuff on GitHub. So if you have like an agentic AI with web access through MCP. Like for instance, I'm using open code with Big Pickle. They give you like so much. So yeah, so you can just literally give it the URL to a GitHub project and say, add this feature to it. And it'll go through and download the whole code, the whole structure locally, go through all the files, look at it, run it, derive things, add the feature until it's working to your satisfaction. It can take a while and a lot of iterating, but that's part of the coding process is iterating. Even if you know what you're doing, you're still going to iterate and make mistakes. Right? Like, I don't know very many developers that just the first time they write everything, it works perfectly exactly how they wanted, right? So having the agentic AI do that while you're off doing other things, and then coming back and then just spit polishing the program. Like, for instance, it's a hell of a lot easier for me to create a program that's close to what I want, but not exactly what I want, and then modify it to exactly what I want, than it is to try to create it from dead scratch. I mean, hell, most of the programs I write that I vibe code right now are over 1,000 lines. So 1,000 lines doesn't sound like a lot, but to write 1,000 line program, that could be like an entire couple days of work to write that, vet it, plan, get it working. And now you can do that in 5 minutes, and then maybe spend like another hour or so yourself going through and like tweaking things to get it exactly the way you want if the AI is having trouble doing it. Let's see here. Real Bodo said, what I'm thinking, you have a lot of people who won't get why you still need engineers. I'm scared of leaving my company. Dude, I'd be scared of leaving like any job in an IT space right now because there's a lot of downsizing going on, not a lot of hiring going on. Basically, though, if I wanted to get a job in the IT industry right now, which is it's getting close to the point where I may have to, I'm gonna have to rely on friends and connections, past connections, because there's really no other way in through the front door right now because everybody that's getting laid off from every other place is going to the companies that are downsizing, and they're downsizing. They're not hiring, like they're literally downsizing. That's the reason why they're getting rid of people. And what I think is going to happen is something similar to what happened in 2015 when Microsoft did the huge rounds of layoffs to restructure and merge the three Xbox, phone, and Windows together, right? I think the same thing's going to happen with AI where they find out that they're overworking the employees that they have left. The vibe coding is starting to break down, too many security issues, too much liability, not enough human eyes on project, and then they're going to be forced to start rehiring again. But again, even if they start rehiring, there's going to be so many people out of work looking for jobs. You're going to be competing everywhere, and they're going to be paying bottom dollar. They're not going to pay top dollar for engineers when everybody's fighting over one position. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a problem. By the way, this whole time I've been talking to you guys, this agentic AI has been over here just going batshit crazy. It's called Big Pickle, by the way, if you're wondering which LLM I'm using. It's Open Code gives you access to their own Big Pickle model. And it's actually pretty good at coding. So right now I'm watching it. It's already rewritten and ran the program about 20 times while we've been talking. And now it actually got it to successfully find sound files online, download them, and now it's trying to get them to play. So it says the issue with the Windows Media Player COM object is the property name. It tried to use an old like worn out version of it. Now it went and looked and found the updated version of it. Now it's trying this. Now it's running again. Okay. I still haven't heard any sounds play though. So I don't think it's perfectly worked yet. Okay, it downloaded 0 bytes in the payload, so it tried to download a sound called pop. That failed. So yeah, it's trying to figure out the problem though. It's over here doing its thing. What is this? Web request waiting for stream from website. Yeah, it's trying to find all kinds of ways to find sounds online. It's looking for like obscure websites that just let you download sounds and try to tie into their API. Because I didn't tell it where to get the sounds. I just said go find the sounds. So it's just going to sit there while we're talking. We're probably going to be sitting here talking, and you're just going to hear weird sounds start playing. Because I told it to fix the bugs. I said, you got to fix this. Don't fix the bugs until it's playing sound or until I run out of my free credit. But so far, I've only used 24% of my daily allowance. And they reset it every day. And that's free. You don't have to pay anything for that daily allowance. It's usually enough to actually write a couple good projects. James Campbell said, since you were a Microsoft software developer, it would be really cool to see you put a fork of Linux where you have used AI to just automate the Windows equivalents. It'd be really cool to see you put out a fork of Linux where you used AI. Like you want to see me do like automate, like the automation I was doing in Windows, but on Linux? Is that what you mean? Like the same type of automation stuff that I was doing in Windows? Because the truth is, a lot of the automation stuff that I do... Oh, I heard a sound. Did you hear that?
No.
Oh, I heard a laser sound. I heard a beep and a laser sound. Oh, I'm hearing bells. I'm hearing bells. It did it. Can you guys on stream hear that? I know Ox can't hear it because it's on a different channel, but can you guys hear the bells and stuff playing? It did it. That's agentic AI. It just went through like 100 iterations and it finally found it. Now it's downloading sounds and playing random sounds.
Yay.
Oh my God, it's working. That's fucking cool. So let me hit escape so that actually, I'm not going to hit this. Okay, it says great. The script is working successfully, and I confirmed it's playing sound. Some downloads fail, returning HTML instead of audio, but many are working. I can see it successfully played a click, a pop, a ding, a Windows error, and a beep sound. Let me create a more polished final version with better error handling, and now it's writing the final program. So, dude, I'm scrolling up, though. It iterated so many times. It went through and fixed so many little bugs and took different directions and
Everybody's
restructured.
saying no.
Oh, nobody can hear that? Damn it. Oh, do I have system sounds muted? I bet you I do. Hold on, system sounds, desktop audio. Yeah, desktop audio is muted. Here, say something real quick.
Say something real quick.
Okay, there might be a little echo because I have them coming in on desktop audio. Actually, screw it. I think I just mute you and have you coming on desktop audio. Here, let me mute you there. Okay, say something again. Nope, he's muted. Okay, so I have to leave that unmuted for him to come in on system audio. Damn it, I hate OBS sometimes. There might not be an echo though because you're coming in on 2 channels and the bars are moving perfectly in sync. So hopefully that means that's working. All right, so it finished writing the final program. So let me see. So users, Jerry. Okay, let me grab this. Okay, the final program is written, so I'm going to go run it. Let me go back to my PowerShell window. So in the PowerShell, so it's been sitting here working on this program like a madman. Come on, where is it? PS1. Start PS1. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to run random Random sound player PS1. You guys ready? Hopefully you guys can hear this. It's running. Okay, it says cleaning up temporary files. Player stopped, played sounds, press escape at any time. Wait, what? It was working. Why the fuck is it not playing sounds now? Okay, that doesn't make no sense. I literally just watched it playing sounds and downloading sounds. Now I'm running the script and it's not working. Why? What did I fuck up now? Let me open up OpenCode again. Because, dude, it was actually, I wish you guys could have heard that. It was so awesome. I was just talking, all of a sudden I hear all these crazy sounds playing that I've never heard before. I was like, it actually ended up doing what I was supposed to hear. Okay, when I run the script from PowerShell prompt, it doesn't seem to work. Can you run it here for me? So I'm just going to tell it, hey, you do it for me. I'm not, I don't know how to do this. I'm too stupid to run a PowerShell script. So now it's going to go, okay. It says running the script player test functionality. Oh, no, it hit the same error. So when it rewrote the code with the fix, it somehow broke itself again. See, this is the kind of stuff AI does, though, right? It actually got it to work, and then it said, okay, I'm going to polish this. Okay, now it popped up a test window on my screen. What the shit's that? I didn't tell it I wanted a UI. Okay, it's trying to figure out where the error is. Oh, yep, it found it. It says the script exits immediately without playing a sound. Let me debug this and see what's happening. It's walking me through. Let me fix the syntax issue and test with a proper PowerShell script. So, oh, there it goes. Okay, did you hear that sound? There was a sound that played there. Okay, it says cannot add type assembly. System media could not be found. So it's trying to figure it out. Okay, the issues with system media isn't available directly. Let me fix the script to correctly assemble. See, this is where it fucked up, though, is it had it working perfectly. It was playing all the different sounds until escape was pressed. And it actually pressed escape to stop the program, too. I watched it do it. So, but then it's like, oh, let me rewrite the final version, and then it introduced bugs again. But if it had to just stop there and just save the file right there after doing the testing, it would have worked. But it tried to optimize it, and that's where it fucked it up. Okay, now it says, great. It says, okay, great. It is now playing sounds again. Let me fix the main script with the correct assembly. So now it's going and trying to figure out the dependency issue. This is actually a fairly sizable script, too. Let me see. How many lines is this? Okay, this is... Oh, it's only 168 lines in PowerShell to do this, for the script to go and download random sounds. And by the way, it's getting the sounds from a file called soundj.com. I don't even know what that is. But apparently it's going to soundj.com and getting the sounds. Watch, there's probably a TOS on soundj that's like, you cannot scrape sounds from here programmatically. That's the other thing you have to worry about with AI, too, is AI could, if you don't specifically tell it where to get things or where to go, it'll just randomly figure out like where the best place is to do it based on everything else that it's been doing. And sometimes that can be from a place where you could get in a lot of trouble if you're caught scraping. Like, for instance, you know the XTOS charges $15,000 for every like million scrapes or something like that?
Insane. The cost for their API is bonkers.
It's like, I don't know.
That was a long time ago. To get like full access to that was one of the first things he did was fuck over the API access.
Yep. And that pissed me off, honestly, because I loved Twitter's API before all the limitations went on there. Did you go? Oh, you found the open code place.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Call it open code. Somebody was asking how to install it. I literally just copied install open code and Googled it, and then it brought me straight to the docs.
That's awesome.
And it says top line is the easiest way to install open code is through the install script. And it's like right there. But there's other ways too. There's Node.js. There's fucking how to homebrew Linux. There's a bunch of ways to do it.
So if you want to install like open code to like play with it from and you have to run it from the prompt. It is a console application. Like you open up the console, type open code once it's installed. But all you have to do to install is just type this from the console. You do winget space install.
Oh, I'm still doubled up.
Oh, are you? Oh, my bad. Let me fix that. Hold on. Desktop audio and muted. Okay, you're good now.
There we go. He's better now.
So, oh, that's weird. Now it says, okay, test minimal while loop. Dude, it's writing unit tests now. That's so cool. It didn't do that before. Nice. So now it's like creating unit tests, which are like individual little pieces of code that go through and test the individual functions to make sure the inputs and outputs are what they're supposed to be. Okay, it says the basic structure works now. I think the issue might be with the console encoding or the Unicode characters. Let me create a version without Unicode characters and debug the issue step by step. Yeah, because some Unicode characters don't display right in PowerShell. I don't know why. It's very weird. So yeah, if you guys want to install it like using winget, you just drop out the command line, type winget space install space SST period open code, all one word. I put it in chat there, and that should install it. And then once it's installed, just open a command prompt. You'll have to open a new one. If you already have one open when you do the install, it probably isn't in the path yet. So then exit, open your command window again, and then just type open code, all one word, hit enter, and it should just open up and you're good to go. Like you don't have to configure anything. You can just, and you hit tab to switch between planning and build mode. So planning means it's not going to run any commands on your computer. It's just going to go out to the internet, get information, come up with a plan, ask you questions to clarify what you want. And then once it gets to the point where it's ready and it's like, do you want me to build this? Then you hit tab to go into build mode, and then you just type yes. And it'll start building it and then running all the commands and testing it and everything. But yeah, this little agent, boy, it's working its ass off over here. So yeah, it said, okay, I found another issue with the response header. It says, oh, one of the variables response header is null. Let me fix this by checking it. So it is figuring out the bugs again. But here's that's an interesting bug that it hit that I wasn't really expecting there. And that is that it created code that worked perfectly, that did what I wanted. But then it decided that it wanted to clean it up. And in the process of cleaning that code up, it broke it. That was dumb, because what it did is, and this is, again, this comes down to which AI you're using, right? Different AIs are going to have different levels of verbosity and how they do things. Your system prompt will also affect how it does that. So in this case, it cleaned up the code and it never ran the final version to make sure it still worked. It just basically goes, oh, this program works. Let me go through and clean it up and then just give you that. And then you just go run it. You're good. What it should have done is said, either leave it where it is, where it's working, which would have been fine, and then I could have optimized it later, or had it optimized later, or if it optimized it or changed even a single thing, it should go back through its tests to verify it still works, and then if it's broken, fix it. And that's where it fucked up. It didn't fix it, right? It ended up breaking it when it cleaned up the code, and I said, no, you go run it yourself. It's not working. And then it ran it, and it immediately goes, oh, shit, you're right. It isn't working. I need to fix this. Now watch it do it again. Watch it get it working again, and then it comes back and goes, oh, let me optimize the code. If it does that, I'm going to be pissed. Hey, Historio, thank you for the $5 dues, man. Oh, sounds are playing again here. Let me do desktop audio. Hold on. Come on, please play more sounds. I think it's downloading another sound. Come on. Come on. Ah, shit. It finished its testing. Damn it, I had the channel muted again. Okay, it says, perfect. The script is working. The simplified version, okay, downloads 3 different sounds, click, beep, and pop, plays each sound successfully. Between sounds is specified, and then cleans up temporary files. The issue is likely Unicode characters in the console output. Here's the final code. Okay, so here's the polished version. Okay, this time it was smart. This time it ran the polished version. There was an error, so it cleaned it up again, and it fucked up, but now it's smart enough this time to run it. It found a syntax error. Oh, it's doing it again. It's doing it. Come on. Unmute. Okay, here we go. You guys should hear it now in a second. Okay, did you hear that sound? Oh, shit, that was annoying.
I heard some kind of buzz. I heard that buzzing out of your headphones.
What the fuck are these sounds, man?
Time fiddling with local LLMs on your machine or a 4090 non-powerful. A 4090 should be plenty. 4090 really, these
bad sound.
You can get a really good open model running on that'll run on, I would say 12 gigs if you don't want to wait too long for responses. And there's plenty of good open models right now that'll fit into 10-ish, 8 to 10 gigs of VRAM. And so then you still have some space for, whatever else you're running and stuff. So what's 4090?
Sorry about those sounds, guys. That was super loud.
Plenty.
My bad. I'm glad you're lucky you didn't hear that. I about blew out everybody's eardrums.
I heard something coming out of your headphones. I heard some buzz.
It was loud. It shocked me too.
Thought about playing with my 5080. What's in a 5080? 5080's only got 10, I think, right?
The 5080. Wait, 10 what?
Oh no, 16, dude, plenty. You could absolutely run a local LLM on.
5080 has like 32 100%. Gigs.
16.
The 5080 only has 16 gigs of RAM. Oh, I'm thinking 5090. Never mind. I'm thinking of the 90. That's a big jump on the 90. That's crazy. So a 4090 has more RAM than a 5080 by a lot. Interesting. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, 24 on the 4090. It makes sense. It's the top end. It's the it's the Titan.
That is true.
The generation.
I
think even the 3090. I have a I got a 3090 Ti lying around. This 24. I was thinking of doing that.
By the way, if you use LM Studio, you can actually it slows it down dramatically. So don't expect like Ferrari levels of performance. But you can load huge models. Like I've loaded a model that's 50 gigabytes before, most of it into system memory, DDR5, and then the rest into the graphics card. And it figures out how to like balance it and optimize it to get it. But it does slow it down by a lot. If you load it all on the GPU, you might get like 14 or 20 tokens a second, depending on the model in the GPU. But if you share it between the CPU and the GPU, it can drop down as much as like 1 or 2 tokens a second. So it is way slower, but still, if you give it a directive and you go to bed, like you say, oh, agentic AI, I want to build this program and use your local AI, and you go to bed and you wake up in the morning, it's like when 8 hours passes, that's still going to be a shitload. I mean, that's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands of lines of code it wrote. So you kind of have to look at it from that perspective. But if you want like instantaneous code, then yeah, you're going to have to, use a cloud LLM or use a small LLM that'll load on your GPU. By the way, it created the program. The program's finished, so I just ran it. So PowerShell execution policy bypass file, random sound player PS1. It's called random sound. It prints on the screen. It's all color too. It also did color text. Random sound effects player. Play escape. Press escape at any time to stop playing. Audio system initialized successfully. Starting random sound playback. So now I'm waiting. I don't hear any sounds playing again, but it's probably downloading them in the background. And then it says what it should do is it says this has 0 dependencies. So it uses only built-in Windows PowerShell. Oh shit, I'm not in Windows PowerShell, the right PowerShell. I need to be in the Windows version of PowerShell. So I think it's like PowerShell, what is it, PowerShell x86? Yeah, this is the Microsoft one. Let me do it in here. There we go, run. And play sounds. Come on. Play the sounds. Play the sounds. Why are you not playing the sounds? God damn it, man. This is the AI. This is a bad AI demo I'm doing here. I am failing the AI demo. It's weird. Inside of OpenCode, when it ran it worked fine. It was playing all the sounds. I even blew out everybody's
on my machine.
It worked on my machine, but then I opened up a problem and started doing it.
Vibe coding doesn't help you anything.
Let me ask it. I'm going to just say, hey, when I run this, hold on here. When I run this program under PowerShell console myself, it looks like everything is working. And it says it's playing random sound playback, but nothing is played and nothing else ever prints to the screen, where when you run it here in OpenCode, it seems to work fine. Can you figure out why that is and fix this? And also make sure you don't give me the command to run until you know 100% it's going to work. And also tell me which PowerShell I need to open, since I have several different versions installed. All right, here we go. I'm going to just say, you go figure that out. Because right now it says starting random sound playback. Oh, wait, no, there it goes. Oh, shit, I had to push enter to start it. My bad. Here it goes. So it's waiting 2 seconds. Okay, it's going to play another sound. Wait, 2, 1. Come on, play a sound, damn it. Is it going to play a sound? It's counting down. Okay, wait time. 1 second. 0 seconds. Wow, it's counting down really slow. Okay, it searched for beep. Now it's playing beep. What am I getting in next? Come on. It says wait time 0. Do something. Do something! I got it to play 1 beep. Oh, this is clever. Now it's going through and looking at, it's finding all the different PowerShell versions that are on my computer and going through and seeing the differences with them. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it just says, now it says wait time 0. Oh, no, there it goes. Now it says searching bell. Download file too small, skipping. Okay. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. There it goes. Okay, played a ding. Waiting 2 seconds before next sound. Every second is like 5 seconds. I don't know why this countdown code is a little messed up, because like wait time 2 seconds, then 5 seconds later, 1 second, then 5 seconds later. But it did play a ding. It did play a bell. I'm waiting to see if it does anything else. Oh, there's that fucking jolting short. Okay. Now it's doing a countdown again. Okay. Now it's playing button. Oh, there we go. Okay. It played button again. Bell. Tried to download a file called click. That failed. Okay, button. Now it's trying to play click again. File too small. This is pure ear rape. I'm going to turn that off before I give everybody ear cancer. Oh, my God. I'm sorry, guys. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. You're lucky, Ox, that you didn't hear that, man. That was like fucking... I probably blew out somebody's speakers. How's your 5090 doing? Oh, yeah, I want to know that, too. Putch wants to know how the 5090's doing.
It works.
Have you done anything cool with it to, like, really stretch its legs?
No, not really.
No games or anything?
I mean, I run games, everything, you know, maxed out and all that, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, okay, all right. Tell it to set max volume to 50. That's smart. I've
only got a 1440p monitor, so. You know.
Oh, I've noticed that the graphics load, even on a card like a 4090, like my RTX 4090, I've noticed there is a massive difference in performance between 4K and 1440p.
Oh, for sure.
It's so massive. I was not expecting. Same thing on my 3080. I have a 3080 on my bedroom PC, and I was playing Forza Horizon, and I was getting like at 4K max graphics, I was getting, I want to say like 50, 60 frames per second, and then I dropped it down to 1440p, and it went right up to 120 maxed out. It like doubled this. It more than doubled the frame rate. So I was really, really impressed with that. So now, even though I have a 4K monitor and 1440p isn't a perfect division of the 4K resolution, right, with all the anti-aliasing shit that's built in and stuff now, you don't even notice. The lines are still really sharp. You don't see any aliasing or anything like that. However, I will say on a 74-inch screen, even sitting like way back on the other side of the room, 1080p looks like garbage. Like finally we've hit sizes of screens where 1080p, you can like count the pixels, you know, from halfway across the room. And so I tried playing Forza Motorsport, because Forza Motorsport is like hella demanding. If you enable ray tracing, it just, I mean, it kills the system. It absolutely just drops the system to its knees, even with a 4090. But if you enable DLSS ultra performance and you go in and drop it down to 1440p, you can reliably get about 60 or 70 frames per second with everything maxed and ray tracing maxed, where it basically just makes everything look like it's real life.
Yeah.
So, although I will say that Assetto Corsa modded still runs way better and looks way better in every single conceivable possible way. If you guys are looking for a racing simulator that looks like you're driving in like real life and blows your mind, go get yourself Assetto Corsa. It's like a 9-year-old game. And then just mod the shit out of it using a program called CM or something mod, something manager. The hell, it's called CM something. The hell is it? Assetto. Fuck. I wasn't expecting it to run it again. I forgot that. The Genic AI is still running this program to debug it, and it's like blasting out my eardrums. God damn, ow. You guys don't hear it, but I'm getting absolutely ear raped right now. So anyways, Assetto Corsa has this thing called CM. It's like Community Manager or something like that. And it's badass. You basically just download it. It'll go download and install all of the mods and all the After Effects shit. And then you pay $4 to a guy on Patreon that sells this real life texture pack, like this ray trace texture pack. You install that plus all the weather effects and the new rendering thing. And I swear it looks like real life. Like it legit looks like reality. And you can play in VR. Although I will say VR, you're not going to get a playable frame rate unless you have like dual 5090s or something. Was that DLS 4K upscale? Yes. Yeah. So the DLSS in ultra performance mode basically does like a downscale and it upscales and frame doubles. So, and since I have a 4090, I can only frame double by 1 unless I use an external program. Whereas I believe the 5090, what are they up to now? Like 6 frames ahead or something like that you can do with DLSS? I'm pretty sure the demo for the 5090 showed that it can do like at least 4. I know it can do at least 4 pre-rendered frames ahead. And they claim that it doesn't add like a significant amount of lag. But I've talked to some people that say that it absolutely does. I will tell you this, though. You do not need a 5090 to get multi-frame doubling with an NVIDIA graphics card. You can use it with any NVIDIA graphics card if you use a program called... what is it? It's got a little ducky as the icon. It's called lossless scaling. If you have a couple... It's like $4. It's like $4 on Steam. I got a fart. Oh.
Yeah.
So $4 on Steam. And you can buy, it's like $4 or $5, and it's called lossless scaling. And you can bind it to a key like F12 on your keyboard. And then you can go in and tell it how many frames per second you want in your game. So if you want 120, if you want 240, if you want 480 frames per second, you basically set your frame target. If you want upscaling, so you run the game at 1080p, but then it uses your GPU to do upscaling, using the graphics card so that it's not like killing your frame rate to do it. You can do upscaling and frame doubling or tripling or quadrupling with minimal lag added. So I actually played Flight Simulator 2025, and at max graphics, it was only running at like 30 or 35 frames per second. And for me, that's unplayable. Like I can't enjoy anything at that low frame rate. So I went into lossless scaling and jacked it up to 90 frames per second.
There you go.
And it didn't have any more perceivable lag. It didn't affect my ability to take off or land or to handle anything. And I was getting like 3 frames ahead. But just keep in mind, the lower the starting frame rate is, just remember it's only sampling your input from your controller like that many times in the world loop as it's going. So the higher frame rate you start with, the more responsive it's going to be to the inputs on your controllers. So if you have like 60 frames per second and then you up that to 120, if you could play the game fine at 60 frames per second, it's going to feel very similar. The leg's going to feel very similar to 60 frames per second as 120 because you're still getting the 60 samplings from the game. It's just the frame doubler is drawing the in-between frames. But to me, isn't that mind-blowing to think about? Like, think about that. Your graphics card is looking at the frame buffer at the image that's currently showing on your screen, and then it's looking at the previous image that your screen just drew, so the last 2 images that were on your screen, and it's able to generate the in-between frame, show you that frame, the in-between frame, and the current frame, by adding like 30 milliseconds, 25 or 30 milliseconds. So to you, it seems imperceivable. But on TVs that have that feature, like, the interpolation on your TV where you put it in like 120 frames per second mode, it's laggy as shit. It adds like a half a second lag. Like, it's unplayable. I've never played on a TV where you can enable that feature and you don't immediately notice the lag. However, the graphics card is so much better at it that you don't even notice it. You really don't. Unless you're playing a fighting game like Street Fighter or something like that, where it's like you're down to like millisecond level. You need millisecond timing to like do shit. You're not going to notice. I was playing Indiana Jones with using it because Indiana Jones with ray tracing enabled just like murders your GPU. Use lossless scaling for that. I used it for Flight Simulator. I used it for Forza Motorsport. It worked on all of them just fine. Jerry get ear cum in his ear. I don't know what that came from, but okay. Now I have double ear cancer from the random sounds. Yeah, sorry about all the random sounds, but it did actually finish my project. So now it's confident that it fixed all the bugs. It says you must use Windows PowerShell, not PowerShell 7. So it tells you that you specifically have to open up. So it said avoid PowerShell 7 because this uses Windows specific stuff. Okay. So it says so now if I open this, let's see. I want to see if this final program works as advertised now. So PowerShell. I got to open the one for Windows. So Windows PowerShell. No, that's PowerShell 7. It specifically said don't use PowerShell 7. PowerShell. Open up the Windows one. Aha, there we go. Okay, so this is the Windows one. I'm going to go into the folder that it says, does it say it exists? It says go into this folder. Okay. Go to that folder. There I am. Run this command. PowerShell, execution policy bypass, file, random sound player PS1. Oh, it added a command line variable too, delay between sounds. And you can say how many seconds you want. I'm going to say 1 second between sounds. Let's see what happens. Let me unmute. This time I set it at half volume. So we're at half volume, so this shouldn't like ear rape everybody. Okay, here we go. It says audio system initialized, starting random sound playback. Close this window or press escape to stop. Here we go. Okay, it's counting down. It played but1.wave. Downloaded 35 kilobytes. Yeah, the downloads are taking too long. So, like, this is where you'd start tweaking things and explaining, like, what's happening and you want it to do better, right? Like, I can go into planning mode and say, the problem is the countdown is way slower than it states. And I also have to press enter a bunch of times for it to advance to the next step when it should be doing it automatically. And also, it should show when it's downloading the sounds and also explain why it's not playing the sound if it takes longer to play than the delay between sounds. Fix this program and add a ton of fun features that you think would spice it up and make it cooler. Unit test everything. The next thing you give me has to work perfectly. without me having to press
Or my
enter
grandma will
any
die.
other keys, or my grandma will die of a heart attack. So this is critical. You get it right. I legitimately added that. I want to see what it does. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Hey Anthony, enjoy your shower, brother. James Campbell said, I always opt for a minimum of 90 and then use the custom resolution of 3200 by 1800. Oh, so you're using like ultra wide, right? Yeah, the problem
sure.
with like I mean, I wouldn't use like frame doubling or DLSS with VR because I'm really sensitive to like VR lag. I have to maintain over 90 frames per second. If the movement is too far off, like if I move my head and there's any rubber banding, I instantly get motion sick. However, I don't know how PlayStation is doing it. PlayStation has like DLSS reprojection built into it. Like their version of DLSS on the PlayStation Pro, and in Gran Turismo it like doubles the frame rate, and there's no lag. I've turned it on and off. A/B testing doesn't change my driving at all. And it's very input sensitive. Like when you're driving at speed on the Nürburgring, it's like if you're even off by a little bit, you can go flying off. So it worked flawlessly. Oh shit! So it added a bunch of features, by the way. When I told it grandma was going to die, it says I'm in plan mode. I need to analyze the current issues. It said let me analyze the current issues. Slow countdown, multiple enter presses, download visibility, sound playback longer than the delay, and then fun features. Then it said I can see the critical issue with the current program. Let me analyze and create a comprehensive plan to fix everything. Here is my plan. Current issue analysis. Slow countdown. The wait loop has insufficient timing with start sleep milliseconds 500 plus display overhead. It says enter presses required. It says key detection logic is interfering with the automatic progression. So it's like looking for me to press the escape key, and that's blocking other stuff. It says poor visual feedback. Download status isn't clearly visible. No audio delay coordination. Sounds longer than the delay get cut off without an explanation. Boring interface. This lacks visual flair and interactive features. Here's the comprehensive fix and enhancement plan. Critical fixes. Timing system overhaul. Eliminate manual input requirements. Enhance visual feedback. Audio delay intelligence, and then exciting new features, sound categories and themes. And these all have subcategories too. I'm just not reading those. Visual effects and flair, interactive controls, statistics and gamification, advanced features like sound mixing, recording capabilities, internet connectivity, automatic sound. There's no way it's going to be able to add all this shit. This is like a fucking operating system. It's got a unit testing strategy. It's got a visual design upgrade strategy, performance optimizations, and now it says it's going to implement it in phases. Phase 1 is fixing the base program, then core enhancements, then advanced features, then polish and testing, and then user experience last. It's a question for you. 1, sound preferences. What is your favorite category? So I'll just say electronic. And then 2, visual style. Do you prefer minimal ASCII art? Yes. ASCII only, no emojis. And then what was 3? Ah, shit, I pushed enter too soon. Controls. Should I use a keyboard shortcut for quick actions? Yes. Use keyboard shortcuts for quick actions. And then I'll just let it sit there in the background and run. Dude, I think it's cool. I hope you guys all try out OpenCode. I just found this a couple of days ago. I've been using like Claude CLI and stuff, which is really cool. Don't get me wrong. But this OpenCode thing is like a whole new level. And you don't have to use their service or pay for their service if you want more than the free plan that they give you. If you already have access to like OpenAI, or you already pay for OpenAI, or you already have a local LLM that you want to use, like OpenCode, or not OpenCode, what's it called? There's a local library I use under LM Studio for coding that actually works pretty damn good for Python scripting. It's called DevStroll. So you can load up DevStroll locally. You can point it at them. It can use all of them. And the other thing that's cool about OpenCode is you can switch between the AIs, and it'll carry the context over. So you can literally have an entire plan going with one AI, and if you run out of tokens or whatever, you can switch to another AI, and it'll carry the whole context and program over, and it'll remember everything you did from the previous one as long as the context isn't smaller. If the context is smaller in the new AI you move to, it just truncates like whatever's past that. Dr. Matt Zappa said, by the way, Barnacules, if you put a limit filter on that sound source in OBS, it should help with the sound peaking. Yeah, I did. I dropped it down to 50%. Oh my gosh. Is there any... Oh, actually, I want to go check and make sure that we didn't miss any super chats. Well, I'm thinking about it. Let me go double check here. Control room. No, where did my dashboard go? My dashboard's always hiding from me. Okay, here we go. Viewer activity. Hey, Astario. Again, thank you for that $5. He said, I am a beginner. I am torn between getting a Wi-Fi 7 router or making a Proxmox machine. I'm confused, though. Is a Proxmox machine a router and a server? A Proxmox machine just can run multiple VMs. That's all it is. So if you install Proxmox, you could have one VM be your router software, and you could have another one be whatever else you want. What were you going to say, Aux?
I was going to provide this to help out.
Ooh, what do you got?
So this is a repository for a bunch of Proxmox virtual environment scripts. You go they're all sort of different categories and shit. And all you got to do is open Dude,
this is sick.
So
I didn't know this existed.
You'll see a bit of so you get in Proxmox installed and it starts up, and then you don't actually. This is the goofiest thing, or not goofy, but this took me a sec to like, what? So I have a Proxmox machine running in my living room. And it's basically, it's sort of headless, right? You're not supposed to operate directly on the machine itself. You're supposed to access the machine through, you could do it through a web browser. Honestly, you'll get.
I've always used a browser. I didn't know there was a standalone.
Well, no, as far as I'm aware, that's like not how you're supposed to do it. If I switch over my TV to the machine that it's running on, it just shows a blank command prompt, and it says, "This is your Proxmox server. Go to this IP address with this port to do what you're supposed to do." You're not supposed to do it local, like on the machine. You're supposed to do it through the browser. So you'll go to the browser. It gives you a big window thing. There'll be like sort of a file. It's kind of a folder tree, I guess would be the bit, or I guess that's, or directory tree. That's the right word. And you'll run these script. You run one of these. Like I have a web server running. There's a couple other things I was goofing around with, and basically you run this command at the top. And you run these scripts from the top, and it'll create the VM for you and the whole shebang boom.
Dude, this is sick.
There's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of shit in here.
I did not know this site existed.
You can
This is so cool.
spin up your own file server, and then write yourself a cute little script, and it'll back up all your photos and stuff automatically off your phone. There you can, if you're into like Jellyfin or Plex or whatever, there's a bunch of, they call it Star R, right? It's for radar and sonar and
what's LXC versus VM? So on here it has like under operating systems, and some of them, like if you look next to them when you're like on the side panel, some will say LXC and some will say that they're virtual. I know VM is virtual machine.
Oh, it's a Linux container.
Oh,
LXC
got it.
Is an operating system level virtualization method that allows running multiple isolated Linux systems on a single host.
The nice thing about containers is you don't have to keep using up space to duplicate the same files over and over again. Like if you have 5 containers based on the same Linux, it'll share the same binaries.
This thing, that's cool about Docker is like Docker, the container has everything that the program needs to run inside the container.
Yep. Yeah. And that way they only have to have like one distribution of whatever Linux that container needs, and then every other container that uses that same Linux kernel just uses the same binaries. You don't have to keep with VMs. You're just using the space. If you have 10 Windows 11 VMs, you're duplicating every Windows file 11 times.
Yeah, it's 10 installations of Windows 11.
Or with containers, you can basically have like one Windows VM and all the containers running on it, and each of those containers will only have the files they need to run on top of that Windows.
Or your container could be a Linux only software, and you could still run that inside of Windows because the container has everything that it needs to run that software. You don't really need
LXC
to use
as a container, which is just, why would you not want to run it? Because this site seems to have a ton of them, so I'd imagine people are using them.
You don't have to. I mean,
dude, this is sick though, because I'm looking through here. It's like they got all the networking and firewall stuff. They have all the ad blocking stuff. They have all the gaming servers and shit. This is badass.
Yeah,
dude.
a lot of this stuff is super, super low power or low spec stuff. Yeah, like, and it will, like, you dig into it, it'll tell you. So like, I don't fucking know. Let's see. Hold on. There's web server, right? Web server. Let's say Caddy, right? It tells you by default what the script will allocate in terms of hardware to that VM. So like the Caddy web server, by default, it'll take one virtual CPU, 512 megabytes of RAM, and 6 gigabytes of storage is what it will allocate to that virtual machine. You can change that.
Oh, Doc, you're gonna have some issues running in an LXC. It's fine mostly for home server stuff and never for production stuff. LXC is the standard in Proxmox. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I think Dwellsden is talking about running Docker, like Docker itself, and using Docker containers under under Proxmox instead of using Proxmox LXC, which is their container thing.
You could you pick one or the other. Use Docker or use LXC.
Gotcha. If you don't mind me asking, Jerry, when did you leave Mega? What was the turning point? I was never in Mega. Wait, you thought I was in Mega, dude?
What?
Boy, you'd have to be smoking crack to think I was ever.
Where?
Oh, I just verified it's Daniel. I knew it was as soon as I saw the question. That's funny. Oh my gosh, dude. I'll tell you what, man.
I think all of these are Linux containers. They are all LXC containers. Some of them are labeled as add-ons, but most of these are going to be LXC containers.
Yeah, I'd imagine that most of these are going to be based on Linux because Windows would be like super high overhead.
Yeah.
For like hosting servers and stuff like that, unless you were running it on a desktop and you needed to have that thing running. As a matter of fact, like most of the services people host now, even under Windows, they'll just run the Linux equivalent under WSL2. However, I will tell you guys, I did some testing. I disabled WSL2 on my main box here. So I have Linux installed on another server, so I don't need to run Linux stuff locally. Although it is nice to be able to run Linux stuff with the UI being, like you can literally have X11 shit running in an X11 window on your Windows desktop. So it's like native Linux GUI apps and games running on your Windows desktop. That's cool. I love WSL for that. But the second you enable WSL, you enable Windows Virtual or Windows Virtual Server. And by enabling Windows Virtual Server, now your entire Windows is virtualized because that's how they get the Linux kernel and the Windows kernel to run side by side and interact. Is they run them both in VMs, and then the VMs can communicate with each other through a layer that Microsoft created. But that extra layer does cost you performance. And on my computer, I was playing some games and watching some frame rates. And when I disabled virtual server under Windows on my 13900K, I got like in some of the games, I was getting as many as 20 more frames per second. And in some, it was like 5 to 20 frames per second, depending on the game. But it was very noticeable. Like I didn't realize that it ate that much, that there was that much performance overhead by enabling basically the ability to run hypervisors on Windows 11, which is WSL2, or if you run Hyper-V, you have to enable virtualization. So if you go into like Windows and you do add remove features or add remove, because by default, I don't know if it's enabled by default. So if you never enabled it or disabled it, you're probably fine. If you've never used WSL2, because but if you did enable it, just know it does actually cost you some performance. And I never knew that until I started doing some like A/B testing. And so now I disable it on my main computer because it actually just puts everything that much closer to bare metal, saves you some resources, then I can just run it on another computer and go into it. But I do miss being able to like access files in my Windows file system directly from WSL2, because WSL you could just go to /MNT and then the drive letter. And then under Linux, running under a Linux window in WSL2, you could access your entire Windows file system and vice versa. And it was fucking sick. It was absolutely sick. I loved it. But the performance overhead, I didn't enjoy. And besides, my other computer is on a network. It's on a 10G switch right next to me. So if I want to access files on my system, I can basically just share them out on the local LAN, use the same credentials and authenticate over on the Linux box. And then I can still come across and access all the files and run them under Linux and everything. I just can't have it all be on one window in Windows, which was what I really liked. Now I have to run it inside of like remote desktop. Oh shit, we got Oystein in the house. What's up, brother? It's good to see you. Old dirty Oystein.
What up?
I haven't seen him in a minute. He's long time supporter of the channel. If you don't recognize, He also goes by Oiscog. Have you ever seen Oiscog lurking around? And of course we got Vader's Luxurious Nuts in here. Sorry, Vader's Luxurious Nuts. I didn't say anything earlier. I saw you in here, dude. He said, "Did you see about the ICU nurse shot in Minneapolis? What the fuck? Seriously? That sucks. That place is like a goddamn war zone right now." Putch said, "Think Grandma's old fart."
Oh, that's the guy who got shot this morning.
Oh, got it. Oh shit, that was a nurse. Oh my god.
Yeah, the VA nurse.
Yeah, dude, is it seriously already 2:00?
Yeah.
My God, time flew today. Holy shit, brother.
We
That
had
was
fun.
nuts. Well, what are you gonna do this weekend? If you don't mind me asking.
Chores. I've been in weird, not like sad or depressed or anything, but just in a weird funk. All this stuff is really dragging me down a bit, and my own stuff too. So I got to do some grocery shopping. I got to tidy up, all that stuff, regular house maintenance stuff.
I definitely need to do some cleaning up. Last night, I my back was killing me, but I had to get it done. I taped up all the air conditioner. I didn't weatherize it this year, so it started getting some mold growing in it. So I'm gonna have to flush the whole thing out with like bleach and water before we use it again. So I taped it all off with plastic. I went and got this tape that's like for sealing up gaps in windows and stuff, and I got like weather stripping to put under like the pantry door because the back room isn't cooled or isn't heated. So it's like freezing ass cold, and like cold air was just, the draft under the door was insane. Like we were probably spending $15 or $20 a month in extra heat just to combat that draft. So I went and got all the shit and weatherized it and stuff. So now hopefully our furnace won't kick on 50,000 times a day. And so yeah, I think today I'm probably gonna go take a nap first because I only got like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. So, but after that, I do need to come up here and work on this nerd cave because man, it is not an inspiring place to be with just piles of shit everywhere. The problem is the loft is full, the bathroom is full of stuff, this is full of stuff, and the closet's full of stuff. So I'm like, I don't have anything to move stuff to organize. So I have to play Tetris. I have to just like move one pile to one place to free up the space to bring some of it back, and then figure out how much of it I have to lug down and get in the garage. And my back is just like, fuck you. But at least now that we got the diabetes shit under control, that's actually been helping immensely.
Yeah, like, man, it does seem like you're getting a lot better.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna have as much of an effect this fast, but like, holy shit, yeah. If you're suffering from chronic fatigue, get your blood checked because diabetes, the difference between 150 blood sugar and 300 blood sugar is the difference between feeling awake, alert, and sharp and actually like wanting to do stuff, and feeling lethargic, unable to think or remember even simple things, and constantly nodding off.
Yeah.
So, all right, bro. Well, let's wrap it up. You guys have been awesome. I want to do one more pass to make sure we didn't miss nobody, because we love our supporters. Histario, again, thank you, and give them all a shout out. Histario, the Altonian, Crypto Gimp, the Altonian again, Pele G, my man, bringing the sexes, Bubba to Matt, Pod Lassie, Bubba to Matt again, Blue Varo, and Balliot Brand kicking off the biggest tip of the day. Love all of you guys. Thank you so much. We will see you again next week, and I'll see you guys. Yeah, woo! Yeah! And I will see you guys on Monday over on Twitch. This week we need to try to shoot for at least 3 shows. And I got to work towards doing. I want to get up to 5 shows a week. That's the goal, is to get up to 5 streams a week. So that's what we're going to be working towards. Right on. But we're getting there. I got to talk to my doctor. Hopefully, the blood stuff is in a range now. We just got to tweak my meds one more time, and then hopefully I'll be right where I need to be.
Nice.
All right, peace out, guys, and we'll catch you later on the Flippy Flop. Bye. Thinking about it. It's